Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
The crossover's powered by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com. Save your sarcastic comments for my Chiefs until I'm out of the studio, please.
Really? You can't take it? You can dish it out, but
No,
you
because
can't
I know what
take
you guys are going to do. You don't have any loyalty to a team.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm really proud of the Chiefs for playing and, showing up. Patrick Mahomes definitely doesn't look like he's tired and over football at all.
Okay, get your shot in.
You get one free one.
How about run the ball? I don't know.
Who got their ass beat worse, Drake or the Chiefs?
I don't think Drake suffered that big of a loss yesterday because I could barely hear Kendrick over my TV.
He's a mumbler.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know what he was saying half the time. It was just the audio mixing. How do you spend all that money to get the Super Bowl and your audio mixing is just that bad from Fox?
I don't know.
I think that was a choice on Fox's part.
Conspiracy, Josh?
How and also too at the Grammys they were swearing and they let the not like us play full blast
So
like
where
no
was-
track
where
like
was
he had
Drake
to
last
censor
night?
all that probably in his home in Canada,
Drake location right now.
probably in Toronto,
Des Moines, Iowa.
Davenport, Iowa.
I bet he went to
He's in Gary, Indiana.
What's the furthest place away you could be from?
And stay in Canada?
What's the opposite of New Orleans?
Newfoundland?
You go to like Australia or something?
Newfoundland?
I mean,
Yeah.
St. Edward's Island?
he knew it was coming.
Where?
All right, now I don't think he knew. Well, I don't
Hey,
think
Drake.
I don't think Aubrey knew that she was going to catch a stray, and I also don't think Drake thought that Serena Williams would be doing the crip walk.
Probably not.
She looked great though.
That was badass.
I mean, that was the shocker.
It's such a niche
and people
insult
did-
too.
And it happened so quick that the debate was that really Serena Williams?
Yeah, I know.
I
She
didn't-
was on there for 4
I
seconds.
go-
I got texts and I was like, what are you guys talking about?
I literally said, I go, that dancer looks a lot like Serena Williams. She was, hey, by the way, she was dancing. She looked good doing it. It was a good
I
dance.
also think it was difficult for Kendrick Lamar. A lot of his music, he swears in, and he had to censor himself
I
during
know.
his performance.
So Drake literally is in Australia. He is he's on tour right now. He's got a show in Melbourne on Wednesday.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So he was
was
a slave.
literally halfway across the world. he does not know that this happened.
Hey, do you guys think we needed to
Yeah,
welcome?
Nick says, yeah, Drake is actually on tour in Australia. How about
funny.
that?
Hey,
That's
Drake.
awesome.
Do you think that he'll diss Kendrick?
I think he's probably needs to just pack that one up.
I believe he waved the white flag last week when he showed up to an NBA game with
He
a
has-
shirt full of bullet holes.
Yeah.
Do you think we needed 2 welcomes yesterday from Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise?
Yes. I think the pregame ceremony should be longer. I think there should be more.
It got to be a little long.
Is Jimmy Johnson okay? What's going on
Yeah.
with Jimmy Johnson?
That kind of sprung that on. me.
AI Jimmy Johnson meeting Jimmy Johnson? What's going on?
I just thought it was a nice story about like, hey,
Jimmy Johnson,
He's had a
Jimmy
real
Johnson.
great career.
if you're kind of like not watching football week in, week out, here's this guy that works on our show. He's done all this incredible thing. And also look at our cool AI tool. And then at the end, Jimmy Johnson's blubbering like a baby.
I know.
I'm like, oh, is he okay?
Well, like, wouldn't you tell him? Because they cut to him right
I
when
know.
it ended, and he was like
They were
shocked.
like, wow, what was that?
The other thing I had a problem with,
Everybody else was like, wow, what was that? too?
literally, there were millions of people watching that game because they hate the Chiefs. Do you think they stopped hating the Chiefs once the Snoop and Tom Brady commercial aired, telling people not to hate? I thought that was kind of ironic.
I have a bit of a hot take about that commercial. I don't think it did a thing. I think
They
people
played it
are
a couple
still
times,
hating.
though.
Yeah, they did.
It's
so shocked.
amazing that it's got this bad where we need to do this commercial.
Oh, that one. Yeah. I'm still
Yeah,
I'm still shocked. University of Wyoming, man. Good for them.
What
yeah,
that cost them?
great,
Dude.
great job by them.
Big bucks just laid down on the table.
Do you think that they got how many people applied to Wyoming after
I'm telling
seeing
you,
that
there's so
commercial?
many little boys and little girls who are like, I want to be a cowboy now.
You like Yellowstone? Why don't you go to Yellowstone University, Wyoming?
Remember Josh Allen? Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Speaking
I
of
will.
Yellowstone, what do you like of all the celebrities that they showed? Because I really don't think they showed enough. What do you think Pete Davidson
dude.
and Kevin Costner
Costner.
were discussing?
Great question.
Like of two.
So you're kind of a
completely
weird little guy,
opposite
huh?
guys.
What do you think?
Yeah, Kevin Costner. I love.
I heard your
Staten.
dad died during 9/11.
I love Staten Island.
What's that all about?
How about that 9/11?
There you go.
I might make a documentary about it.
No, Kevin Costner should just go to the Super Bowl, but be in character from his character from Draft Day. You know, he's just Sonny. He's just like David Putney would have made that play. What do you think Sir Paul McCartney was yelling across a suite to Adam Sandler about? And Adam Sandler was just doing the whole, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Like he was doing the stop yelling at me type.
Yeah,
Did you hear me?
Whatever,
Did
Paul.
you hear me? Did you hear me, Adam?
Hey, Adam.
That was a bad day yesterday for America watching the Super Bowl.
Why did
Unless you were an Eagle fan and you hate the Chiefs.
all the celebrities yesterday looked old? Bradley
much going
Cooper
on.
looked old. Ham looked old.
Wow.
McCartney looked old.
You got Tom
Even
Brady
older
trying to.
than before.
Even Paul Rudd is starting to crack a little bit, you know?
Wow.
Is Brady finishing off vendettas against people who were at his roast?
Yeah, that's right.
That is like the whole Kevin Hart thing was
I could-
uncomfortable.
I'm surprised the camera found Kevin Hart. It's like, what do you mean by that, Tom? What's
But
It's uncomfortable because it's not funny. If it was
No.
funny, we would have
Yeah.
been like, "Wow, what a moment of personality."
well, someone needs to get to him because they had the Open on Bourbon Street, which they shut down Bourbon Street between 3:30 and 5 in the morning to film that Open with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Somebody need to get to TB12. Why did he tuck in his t-shirt?
I don't know.
He looks so awkward. And then the stand-ups that they had on the green screen of Bourbon Street, and there's like rainwater on the street.
That was their booth. That was with
Yeah.
the greens. I was like, what are they doing?
But the watch, we thought
The
it was
watch.
about a $600,000 watch
It
that he
was
was wearing.
very
It
cool.
was the most gold. I didn't even think it was gold. It was so gold.
And then his hands. I don't know that I've ever noticed this. Tom Brady's hands are ginormous.
hand model.
That's why they drafted him. So wait, they didn't draft him very high. Never mind.
I don't know. I feel like there's some Tom Brady stories that are definitely manufactured. You know, there definitely are some Tom Brady stories people claim that happened that I don't think happened.
I think Tom Brady loves talking about Tom Brady.
I agree with that.
He just talks.
Tom Brady.
He just
This is
talks.
the biggest game of the year. I mean, everything you got to give it right here.
You can't talk about anything else. There was the one that stuck out to me.
You know, when I played,
Well, he did that like 40,000 times. But the one it was like when the Eagles were lining up for a field goal and the long snapper did the like head down kind of fake
Yeah.
snap thing and he got penalized for that. Brady shoots into this thing. He's like, yeah, those long snappers, they can be crafty. I had a long snapper that I had my whole career for what I'm like,
And then
Why
Mike
did you
Pereira
need-
found out we were cheating.
why did you need to say that?
oh my favorite one was Joe Tooney. What a great player.
He's a friend of mine.
I won 2 Super Bowls with Joe Tooney. Like, all right, Tom, cool. All right,
And
sounds good,
Burkhart's just like he's just like teeing it up for him. Is like, hey Tom, you've been in this spot. You've also been in this spot. You've been down a lot in the Super Bowl. You've also been up a lot in the Super Bowl. So he's like, yeah,
hey,
Kevin, thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate that, KB.
breaking news: Tom Brady has played a lot of football.
Did we need to figure out why it was always Patrick? Patrick. He never said Mahomes.
Yeah.
It was always
Like,
Patrick.
well, they're boys. They must be boys. TB12.
It's almost like he talks about him like he's his son. Like he's the father.
Patrick.
Patrick,
He's
that
just
Patrick.
feeling it right now.
That Patrick, man, he's something else.
Yeah, bad Super Bowl.
That didn't play well.
We'll wait till 60. And we'll get Tirico and Collinsworth.
every
now
time.
here's a guy, Patrick Mahomes has been thinking about this game for 365 days, Mike. Let's not make no bones about it. He did not play his best game last year against the Eagles.
Every time
It's like I'm there.
every time I looked at the game last
That's
night,
not bad. That's not
I
a
was
bad one.
like, why isn't this NBC? Or what? Like, it was a bad.
I mean,
They didn't get helped by the fact that it was a bad game, but it was a bad broadcast.
Can no one have just
it's
like-
a bad broadcast? It's bad presentation. Like, what are they
Well, the
doing?
post game, I mean, Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah,
Can't do,
Yeah.
gotta get
is
him out.
he still the guy that
Yeah.
you need to have up? Like, why
Why
does
not Strahan,
why
who
not-
hosts Good Morning America
Yeah.
every day?
why not literally anyone?
Or
Aaron
Aaron
Andrews.
Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then you have Carissa Thompson telling Saquon Barkley's daughter, "Your daddy just won the Super Bowl." Yeah, I think she knows that. She's 8 years old. Like the confetti's flying down.
Did we need 2 interviews with Sirianni and 2 with Hurts?
Yeah.
At the end of the game, probably could have just talked to different players on the podium, or I
Did they
don't
give
know.
Josh Sweat any time after the incredible game that he had? That he
Not
probably
main
should have been.
FaceTime.
Yeah,
Like ESPN, like Chris Berman was on the field again. Like they had a set up. They had him on the set. They had Hurts and Barkley together on the set, and it was very awkward because I think all Barkley wanted to do was to get in the locker room and chug beer.
Yeah.
You did that a lot.
it's
He did.
just funny to me. Like there were definitely 8 people out there who had a plus 12,000 Josh Sweat to win Super Bowl MVP ticket.
Mm.
And just got shafted.
I had Philly D scoring a touchdown. Thank you, Cooper.
Hey!
Nice.
Thank you, Cooper.
Well, have you seen this? Have you seen my lunch money for the week?
What do you
right
got?
here.
What do you got?
It's Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown, Philadelphia money line. Right here.
Wow.
And I won a Squares pool.
Nice.
Oh,
I might go to Nebraska Furniture Mart now.
NFM.
Wow. I've just received breaking news.
What have you
Oh.
received?
So
Can you do this in the Ron Burgundy voice?
I've just received.
yeah, this is a very important piece of news. Okay.
Cannonball.
So tomorrow, Hell in a Cell. Red Panda's the halftime show.
Whoa.
Guess who's throwing Red Panda the Bulls tomorrow?
You.
Johnny Fanta.
Connor Happer.
Oh! Happer!
I'm so
Happer!
nervous.
Holy Lord!
I'm so nervous.
Oh my God!
Wow, I have immediate stress.
So are you
When
gonna?
will you have to be there to practice?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything.
What do you think is the proper
I
form?
better get a haircut.
Is there any risk involved? Are you trying to?
I don't
Are you throwing
know.
like a frisbee?
I don't
Do you
know.
kind of toss it up?
I don't know.
Do we have any?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna psych myself out on this one.
You have to flip it up a little. Doesn't it have to do a flip in the air at one point as well?
Yeah, I gotta get in there.
What if
Check out the balls.
what if she fails and it's all your fault? What if you actually throw her the ball or throw her a ball and it hits her right in the face? She falls over. She breaks her back. Red Panda retired forever because Connor Happer. It'd be like the other guys when Mark Wahlberg shot Jeter. I mean, that's the
The
comparison.
Yankee Clipper.
Yankee Clipper. You would be the Panda Clipper.
I need you to be at Smash Park all afternoon, just flinging stuff.
Tomorrow could be the worst day of your life.
If
Why don't you practice like with your daughter this morning? Or this afternoon?
have you guys ever seen Red Panda fail?
Yes.
It's heartbreaking.
I haven't.
It is.
It's
I
heartbreaking.
have not.
So when her last appearance at an Omaha game, she was having a rough day, and it was more on her, and she apologized.
Does she have a
I know.
snow-
She
they
yeah,
told-
she comes back out and she's like, I'm sorry, I can't
The
finish.
game day people told me that in the back, she like was apologizing profusely.
She did a women's game several years ago. It was the first time I had watched her fail, and she would get back up there, and she just couldn't get the fifth.
Yeah.
She just couldn't get the fifth bull or whatever it was.
It's kind of like when
it was heartbreaking.
when you see somebody with the excellence of Red Panda, it's kind of like Mahomes yesterday struggling.
Yeah.
You expect them to be good, and when they're not, It's
almost
jarring.
It's almost like you go to a Red Sox game and Ted Williams strikes out 4 times. You're like, what am I watching? This is heartbreaking.
So are you going to give us like the behind the scenes tricks?
Yeah.
Like she gives you tips
We
on
gotta
how to flip it.
We got to
Oh.
make this content.
Well,
we
I'd
got to
be-
get someone
I'd
back there.
be happy to let people in. I don't know what. I mean, the only thing I know right now is that I'm throwing her the bulls. That's all.
So when is rehearsal?
I don't know. Is there a rehearsal?
Oh, there has to be.
Oh my God.
Oh, you
She's
don't
gotta-
want to go out there cold.
No. She's got to get your timing
Yeah,
down.
your timing.
You guys
I need
have
to
to
visit.
be. You guys have to be symbiotic.
I
You
need
got to
to-
be syncopated together.
I need to visit. I need to visit the Lexus Club before the game.
Lexus Club, incredible. I
Have
I
a.
indulged.
I need to have. Oh yeah, I need to indulge. I'm gonna take the zip off a little bit. I'm nervous. Jay's live is canceled at halftime, but I'm throwing Red Panda Bulls.
How about you do?
Holy
How about
God.
you do Jay's live while you're throwing Red Panda the Bulls?
Jay's live's canceled. Jay's live's over at halftime.
Like you're doing it like other Big East action. Marquette is currently, and then you're throwing the ball up to Red Panda. Is she a snowball effect person? Is what I'm getting at. She makes one mistake and it kind of leads into the next mistake.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, there's a momentum is important, obviously, when you're flipping bowls up on your head on a
Is,
unicycle.
You sound like
is
a Red
she in
Panda
Lincoln
expert now.
tonight?
I don't know where she is tonight. No, I don't know where she is.
Let me look.
Well, maybe because they
She
like
might
to
be-
do that.
Yeah, she might be at the women's game and do women's game tonight.
Let me check.
There are no
spring
men's
tomorrow,
Big
and
Ten
then go back
games.
to Lincoln on Thursday for Nebraska, Maryland.
I'm trying to look at the current men's college basketball.
No,
slate
it's
tonight.
not. It's not. It's not Red Panda at halftime in Lincoln tonight.
Is it the Super Scars?
It's Rolla Bola.
Oh, he there yesterday.
There, yeah,
Yeah.
Rolla Bola.
Yeah, no, there's no men's college basketball games that she might be at that would warrant her going. And then, so I guess she just gets the night off. Tomorrow, you could fail
Just think
miserably,
about
and
it
no
this
one
way.
will forgive
You
you
will
for it.
now we're doing a show today. You're going to have about 3 weeks of pictures from tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
So look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
No pressure.
I mean, I got to get a picture with her afterwards. You know?
Yes. Now she is because we kind of interviewed her. She physically she is built.
Really?
Like, yeah, she's in her 60s. Like you would never know it.
Her core strength has to be off the charts, right?
Unbelievable. And she's super nice. But yeah, when she doesn't have a good night, she feels so bad.
Yeah. Well, everyone's depending on her. I mean, this is some people's halftime Super Bowl.
You've
And
seen it
it's
before.
all in the palm
Yeah.
of your
What have you
hand.
seen,
I
what have
know
you seen
what
Red Panda like 3-4 times?
I'm fine. Oh yeah, probably
Tomorrow will be a big night for you.
huge. Hell in a cell.
Has there ever been more pressure on you to perform than what tomorrow will be? Have you ever had an athletic event or any event in general where there was more eyes on you hoping that you will succeed, and if you were to fail, no one would forget about it?
Gosh, that's a really good question, and I think the answer is no.
So tomorrow
I mean,
might
I never
be-
played in front of 17,000 people.
I mean, tomorrow might be one of the biggest moments of your life, you could argue.
yeah, I never hit like a half court shot in front of 17,000 people. or
No,
anything
no,
like
you've
that.
not. You've not.
No.
You've not. You've never putted
thought
for
I
a
did-
Porsche.
I thought I did a pretty good job at facilitating the
marriage.
engagement
Yeah.
on Saturday, but that one, you just gotta. You're Jalen Hurts. You just gotta get the ball.
Was
to the right
she
people.
was she picked because it was going to be like she was going to get proposed to, or was she picked because you knew that she was not going to be able to get to the free throw line?
There was going to be a proposal.
Okay. Yeah.
That was planned.
Yeah.
That part was planned. Yes.
Man, I was just trying to throw in the fact that she was terrible. She was awful.
Yeah, it
I mean,
wasn't.
she at one point you had to go use the backboard. Like she couldn't make a layup.
I was trying to get her to the free throw line.
She couldn't get there.
Well, she got to the free throw line. She couldn't make the free throw, sadly. But she got an engagement.
She
ring
got
out
a
of it.
better prize.
I think it
at
would
the
have been
end of the
better if
day.
it was a plant, and then she would have turned it down, sprinted off the floor in tears.
I think it.
No, I can't. No, we have something for you. No, I don't want that. Whatever the consolation prize is, I don't want
I think it would have been even more credible if she made the half court shot. Can you imagine?
$13,000 for the
For the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
that would have been a great line for you.
Creighton has gone all in on tomorrow night for UConn. They've got cheap beer night,
Dog beer night, baby.
and they've got Red Panda,
Oh my god.
and the tunnels.
The tunnels.
The tunnels will be back.
Oh, Hurley, the Hurley
Yes,
tunnel.
the Hurley tunnel.
Yeah, the Hurley Memorial.
And I'm
tunnel.
sure there will be a message board right where the students come down to their seats about proper respect.
No doubt. No doubt. We'll see if they're able to stay
Proper
respectful
respect.
tomorrow.
What are they gonna do? Put them all in detention?
I don't know, there
Well,
was a-
it's officially Hunan.
Officially Hunan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's about refs, not about Dan Hurley.
Oh, yeah.
There was no specific word sent out from the league about how respectful to be to Dan Hurley. Given that he's the best coach in the country. I'm the best coach in America. Don't turn your back on me.
Don't turn your back on
Turn
me.
your back on me. I'm the best coach in the country.
You turned her against me.
Oh,
Will
man.
not take her from me.
Well, good luck. That's quite the honor.
Well, yeah, we have a whole nother day. We got
For the next 4 hours, Connor Happer's just going to be in cold sweats thinking about Red Panda night.
Had you been angling for this?
Yeah.
Or-
Was this a
or-
political push for you?
Or were the people at Creighton like, what would be funny?
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't the thought. What if
why,
this guy screws up? That'd be hilarious.
why did they pick you? Why were you selected for this?
I don't know. It just says, I'm just reading a text. Are you good to help out Red Panda? To throw her some bowls? And I was like, oh my God, yeah, dream come true. This just happened. This just happened 7 minutes ago.
I believe the text was actually the time has come.
Sure, but I got this Jay's Live thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I can make it.
Jay's life's canceled.
I'm really
We're
it's
taking
my
care of it.
baby. Guys, it's my baby. It's my baby.
Jay's life's canceled. We're
All
taking
right,
care of it.
baseball season's here.
Oh
I
yeah,
expect
that's
nothing
right.
but 4 hours of baseball talk today.
What about college basketball?
No, we're on to baseball.
What?
Pitchers and catchers are reporting.
You should be
The Japanese series is less than a month away.
all about
I'm not-
college
I'm a-
basketball.
Amanaga against Otani.
Oh,
Alex
Okay, well,
Bregman
I was
coming
about
to
to say
Chicago. Hmm.
it's all they're talking about over there on the airwaves.
Wow, you're on the road the next 3, Gary. Look at that.
We get to go to Brookings, St. Paul, and Kansas City.
Ken Palm is not big on your chances the next 3, but they haven't been all year. So what do they know?
No, they've won. So Creighton has won 9 in a row and covered in 9 straight. Omaha has won 7 straight games as an underdog.
Look at that.
They were an underdog on Saturday.
It appears as if they're going to be an underdog on Thursday and Saturday as well.
Yes, they will be. 2 places that they don't lose very often. The home team, that is.
It's
Yeah.
all in front of you.
And because the Summit League hates Omaha,
Yes.
the next 3 opponents all will have a week off before they play Omaha.
Wow.
I'm just saying the Valley would never do this to you.
Exactly.
Get them to the
I'm with
Valley.
you.
Get them as the Valley. A
And be
trip
right
back
there
to
with-
Arch Madness.
We'd be right there with Drake. Drake and Omaha
The
could have a
school.
yes.
Drake, the school, has one of the longest winning streaks in the country right now. Drake, the artist,
Is all the way
He is
across
taking-
the
He
has
is
one of
world.
the longest losing streaks in the country.
But 5 weeks from today, we could be celebrating.
Dude. What? Whoa. 5 weeks from
We'll have a bracket.
5 weeks from yesterday is Selection
yeah.
Sunday.
Mm.
Oh my God.
I know it's weird that the season is like Omaha's down to 5 games remaining because they moved up the Summit League to get the final on CBS. Yeah, they have
Smart move.
five regular season games remaining. Nebraska still has a lot of games left.
Yeah, they do.
Let's check on
I
Nebraska.
think they have what?
Well, they have
7? 6 or
4 more
They
home
7?
play an
games.
extra week. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 regular season games, 4 of which are at home.
I mean, Creighton still has to play at Seton Hall. They got to go to Cincinnati. Georgetown comes
They
here.
gotta go to St.
DePaul
John's.
comes here. St. John's, they go on Sunday.
Creighton has 7 as well. Only and 4 of which are at home. 4 more times to see Stephen Ashworth put people to sleep. That
He
guy,
did that.
He did. Josh loves when that happens.
That was pretty good.
I'm a sucker for the night.
He
move.
that is.
And then it happened.
He did it. Again.
Was
I did that.
like that must have been brewing during the game. Like he was getting agitated, and if I do something,
Well, you know, he's
Reigning sports person of the year.
yeah, he's dealing with the double, and it's like both people left him. He's like, okay, I guess I'll just shoot this. Nighty night. Nighty night. All right. Well, you guys have a great day.
good luck. Hopefully, you'll be able to mentally focus and make it through because you got a big women's game tonight. What do you think the crowd will be like on a Monday night at PBA? That's a big game
It's
for
Iowa.
Nebraska, Iowa.
It's Iowa.
But no Caitlin Clark.
I know, but it's Iowa.
They have Kate Gosselin as their head coach.
Jan, I believe is her name.
What a pull. Haven't heard that name in so long. Makes me want to bust out my old Ed Hardy clothes.
Think about watching like
5,000.
okay, that's not bad.
It's a good crowd.
Will Dylan be there?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Wearing his Jalen Hurts jersey?
Turtleneck.
Unless, is there an Omaha high school basketball game tonight that he could go to?
No, we
or,
don't,
okay.
we don't play on Mondays.
Okay, well, then
Um,
probably.
I
He'll
think
probably
last
be
year
there.
I probably watched from start to end, I don't know, probably 12 Iowa women's games. How many I've watched maybe combined first, second half, maybe 3.
This year.
Only
the
player I
Kate-
can tell you is Hannah Stolke,
The Caitlin Clark effect is very real.
but she remains in a commercial.
Yeah, she's trapped inside of the commercial.
People got triggered that Nebraska volleyball was not featured in that commercial.
I thought you were going to say people got triggered that the entirety of the WNBA wasn't in that commercial.
Well, it was a Nike.
Yeah, there was a
commercial.
Nike
They're not
commercial.
Nike.
no, why
athletes.
can't Nike
But they made the
sponsor
comment
every
about-
single
They made the comment
WNBA
about not
athlete?
being able to fill a stadium. People are like, Nebraska? Well, if Nebraska was an Adidas school.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean,
It's good. It's valid. It's valid.
yeah. Also, do you think Caitlin Clark actually was the best quarterback on campus when she was at Iowa?
No.
I've seen this discourse over the weekend.
Yeah.
She was at a
The
Gatorade event.
The Iowa starting quarterbacks while she was there, well, they would have had there would have been like
McNamara,
1 year the tall guy, right?
and then
Big guy Nate Stanley.
Deacon Hill.
Nate Stanley was pretty good.
Deacon Hill.
Yeah, you want to talk about hands?
Petrus.
Nate Stanley. That guy's got big hands.
He does. I remember that from Big Ten Media Day.
Oh yeah. Pause.
The biggest hands I've ever shook were Lance Briggs, and it was the most emasculating moment of my life because he literally swallowed my hand. Like his hand complete went thumb to pinky around my hand when we shook hands. And I don't even think we shook hands. He grabbed my hand and went up and down. And I go, yes, sir.
The late Adrian Fiala. Did you ever shake his hand?
Oh yeah.
He had monstrous
And
hands.
a great grip.
Oh my God.
Ugh.
Like it was a real handshake when you would shake hands with Adrian.
The way you said that. was
Just a
great
Just
grip.
a great grip. Oh yeah.
All right.
Right.
Have fun. Great news. That's exciting.
I know.
I'm not going to be able to go to sleep thinking about you throwing the red panda. I don't know how you're going to get a wink.
You want to do it?
Yes.
Sorry, you can't.
It's gonna be dollar. it's gonna be dollar beer night too. I'll be stumbling onto the court.
Yeah.
Like you have to in your kitchen when you go home today practice, right?
You
I don't
show
want-
up with a unicycle to
Well,
to
but
the
like
house.
she has her own bowls, like my bowls won't work. If I try to throw my bowls,
Oh my God!
all of a sudden
What if
I
you
get
brought
out
your-
there
you
and I
should-
start
hey,
chucking bowls over her head
what if
because
you
they're
brought
so
your-
light.
What if you brought your own bowls for Red Panda? You're like, hey,
No.
sorry, Red Panda, we're rolling with these tonight. I need to be as comfortable as possible.
I got glass bowls, like I get out there and I've been swinging a weighted bowl for the last 24 hours. All of a sudden I fly one into row
It's like,
4.
hey, practicing with it's like a donut,
Oh my
With the
God, it
bread.
hit Nick Baugh.
Hey, you got to do this. So you do have to go get a bowl. You have to have her sign a bowl and bring it in and put it in
Oh
here.
yes,
The wall of random can
I've
return.
never seen a Red Panda autograph.
I will
That'd
take
be
I
incredible.
will take one of the bowls from my house. I have so many bowls.
Can you?
We can take one of the bowls from my
I
house.
have
and I'll
so
have
many
her
bowls,
sign the
so many of them.
Lots of bowls.
You have to do that.
All right. I'll
Like
have
I
her
think
sign
she
a
would
bowl.
probably find that very endearing.
Can you bring like 7 and we all get one? Can you just do a mass?
I'm not going to have her sign 7
Oh my God.
bowls.
Can you imagine the video? When they're all doing the autographs, they're just going a shirt at the time. It's a video of Red Panda just going bowl after bowl. and just
Both teams
signing.
are coming out on the floor to start warming up for the second half, and you're still out there with bowls, and she just signing.
Can you imagine Connor at the sides, outside CHI at the end of the game? Got a bowl here. Sign Red Panda, authentic. $40.
All right. Have a good afternoon.
Have a good
everyone.
Monday.
That is the crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha. EveryLevelConcrete.com. It's Monday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Monday. It is the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Adson with you. Today is not a holiday, notably. I know you'll be rolling into work groggy this morning, and you'll be saying to the nearest person that you could find, God, they should really make today a holiday.
They should play the game on Saturday so we could rest on Sunday. That game went till 10 o'clock last night, Connor. Oh, my gosh.
Some of us watch football games late on Sunday night every single week of September, October, November, December, January.
Conservatively, that game ended an hour before Sunday Night Football ever ends.
We are built for it here in the sports community. That's not just you and I, Josh, who watch these things. That is you all who listen to this show. And so I imagine a lot of people who listen to the show are pretty excited about going to work today and discussing the game with their coworkers who might not watch sports. You don't have to have an answer to the question. Hey, what was your favorite commercial? What brand do you think did the best? You say, no, I want to talk about the game. I want to talk about how the Philadelphia Eagles imposed their will upon the Kansas City Chiefs last night to win the Super Bowl licks. Super Bowl 59. Licks.
That was a Super Bowl.
It was indeed a Super Bowl, Josh. I'll take some credit for this, as we predicted back in December about how the quality of the Super Bowl were destined for bad Super Bowls. We didn't quite get the score right. It was not quite 17-13 as we predicted on December 3rd. But it wasn't good. It wasn't fun. I'll tell you that much.
We nailed that part.
We did nail that part. So we'll take credit for that. So we will discuss the Super Bowl from many angles, including what you've all been waiting for is the halftime show. People want to talk about the halftime show today.
They do.
Many people want to talk about the halftime show.
I'm not sure why.
The halftime show or the score bug?
Oh.
Score bug? Bad.
Got something for both of those.
Yeah, not good, everybody. Mike Schaefer will join at 11:30 today. Sam McKewon at 1. That's the lineup powered by the referees. John Higgins, weather guard. We'd love to hear from you all. 402-951-1620 on the hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today. Hi, everybody. Theo says Happer Show looked like geniuses for defying the bosses and backing the Eagles last week. Something that I did not do.
Yeah, who'd you pick to win?
I picked the Chiefs.
I also picked the Chiefs.
Many people at 1620 The Zone picked the Chiefs. Except for 2, maybe. I think Gary on the graphic had the Eagles, but that seemed like an emotional hedge.
It absolutely was. Josh Peterson picked the Eagles.
Yeah, but that also seemed like an emotional hedge, kind of, in a way.
Matt McMaster picked the same score as Gary with the Eagles winning as well.
Nice. 2 peas in a pod. That's good. All right, and then the rest of us picked the Chiefs because we thought the Chiefs were inevitable, but it became pretty clear after about the first 8 minutes of that game that they were not going to be inevitable.
Oh, they're not doing anything.
No. They got in a big hole and really couldn't get out of it. And then they started hitting some long passes. They were like, "What did we just do that the whole game?" Not how it works.
Well,
not how
the Eagles'
works.
backups weren't playing the whole game.
Not how football works.
No.
So we will discuss the Super Bowl here in just a moment. Let's set up the rest of the show. A great weekend for our local hoops teams. As Gary said, we're less than 5 weeks away from Selection Sunday, where we might have 3 teams who preside the state of Nebraska who might be getting their names called on Selection Sunday, or at least we took a step toward that this past weekend with all 3 of them winning, and then we'll dive into each of them individually. Creighton basketball finishing with a massive right hook and takes down Marquette. You got something special going on right now. Downtown Omaha, Hell in a Cell tomorrow. Oh, boy. $1 beer night. Ooh. Red Panda. Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell.
He was at the game last night.
Oh, he was?
Mhm.
Which box was he in?
Probably the one with his wife and
some others.
That guy.
Now, one of the debates that's come out of the game is, did he get booed or cheered? Many people on many sides thinking different things.
President T?
Yes. When they showed him during the national anthem, did he get booed or cheered?
It was a strong mix of both.
I think so too. But you have one side telling me that he was showing him the screen to rousing applause, and then another side saying, "Wow, they showed him during the national anthem and he got booed out of the building." It had to be one or the other. Could have been both, I guess.
I mean, they said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Kansas City Chiefs," and that was the loudest boo of the evening.
Yeah, the Eagles fans were loud. The EAGLES was loud. Bradley Cooper doing a nice job getting those guys ready to go.
I'm just very happy so that he can get some sleep.
Does he look tired?
Yeah.
Well, he's making cheesesteaks every day now.
Yeah. He was doing that in New Orleans all weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Need a pop-up cheesesteak?
Yeah.
Jeez. A lot going on in New Orleans this week, including carpet on Bourbon Street.
Carpet?
Did you see that they put down like a long purple carpet on Bourbon Street?
What? They wanted something to soak up the vomit?
I don't know. It seems like you got to get rid of that carpet.
Yeah.
That carpet is...
Got to throw that away.
Yeah, you got to get rid of that. Or maybe we could have a piece of it for our newly built wall of random.
It's coming back.
Nebraska basketball has now ripped off 4 in a row. They finished strong as well on Sunday at Pinnacle Bank Arena. The Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar, and all of the things in between. It is a Monday show here where it is not a holiday. Chris writes in on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, Chris.
Is Patrick Mahomes colorblind? It appeared like he couldn't tell that green uniforms were from the red ones when he was throwing the ball. The Chiefs were wearing white and red pants, but he did throw it to the other team a couple times. I applauded it because I was a Patrick Mahomes to throw an interception better.
Yes, thank you, Alan Bell.
As was I a Jalen Hurts to throw an interception better.
Did you couple them?
I did not.
Okay,
I did not.
that's okay.
Turned out pretty okay, even though I picked the wrong team to win in the wrong way last night. Matt writes in on the inbox.
Hi, Matt.
Congrats to Iowa and Nebraska fans. Tush push with Jergy and Cooper DeJean pick 6.
Yeah.
Most people are talking about how Cam Jurgens led the way on that tush push for the first touchdown of the game, not Cooper DeJean's pick 6 today.
He broke Chris Jones's neck or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, he was getting that thing worked out. All right, so here we go on a Monday. I'd like to take your takes on the Super Bowl and everything in between. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. argue, Josh, that what we got out of the Super Bowl last night was maybe the best result for all.
Okay, I don't know what you mean by that. It was not a fun game.
The Super Bowl now, obviously, we the fans, we love competitive football games. That
I'm glad you said that. Yes,
we do prefer when it's that. But as far as the result is concerned, nobody should discredit anything about what the Chiefs have done. In fact, I think the takeaway from the season, now you could look back at it as 3 seasons in a row. You start to think about it a little bit more, and it's like, wow, how did they not have one of those? They didn't play many of those games throughout the last 3 years. They won 2 Super Bowls. They got to a third. You might be able to look back on it now and say, wow, it's truly amazing what they were able to put together. So nobody is really doubting what the Chiefs were able to accomplish. Now we can talk about what the Chiefs are going to be going forward. I don't have many doubts that they're not going anywhere, but that's just me. But you're not discrediting what they were able to do this year or in any of the past 3 years. The best team won the football game. The better team won the football game, clearly. The Chiefs did not have their fastball last night. But like I said, it's okay because they had already won the previous 2. Not that America was rooting for the Eagles or anything like that, but there's no debate today on, like, is this the greatest team of all time? And maybe it still is. Was that the greatest team of all time or the greatest run of all time, the greatest dynasty or whatever it might be? And the right team won the Super Bowl. What do
you mean the right team, Connor?
The right team won the Super Bowl. They were better. The Eagles were better. Were they not better?
Yeah, no, they were better.
I mean, they weren't just better in that game. They were better.
By a lot.
The entire season, it seemed. So let's see. If I flip on the Chit Chat shows right now, what do we think? What do we think they're cooking up for topics today? Like, what's the hot Chit Chat show take coming out?
Is Jalen Hurts elite?
Is Jalen Hurts elite? Let's just see what the first thing is. Do you think it'll be about Luka or something like that? Because that would be disappointing. Also, does this TV work anymore?
Oh, did Gary unplug it because he's mad?
It's I'm getting cable, but the screen is black.
What about a different channel?
Chicago PD on USA.
Oh, this is a good one.
No. None of the channels work. Okay, so I can't see what's going on in the Chit Chat shows.
When Prudon gets here, when he gets back home, we can have him ping the box.
Yeah, today is the day that Chris, our dear friend Chris, who had hilarious pictures from the sideline last night. Do you follow Chris on any of the social media platforms? He had a close-up picture of the president, Bradley Cooper.
He did, yeah. He was right next to Bradley Cooper.
Kendrick Lamar, all those people. So today or tomorrow is usually the day when Chris comes back from the Super Bowl, and then he'll just like say, "Hey, you want a cup? Or you want a poster from the game?" And we're like, "Yeah." And then we get a new sign in our office, like the one that you can't quite see right now because of Josh's microphone arm there. There it is. Football technology. We got NCAA control from the Final Four, I think, last year. Football technology, I think, was the Super Bowl from last year. So we'll get one of those. But I don't know. I don't even know what the hot take is coming off of today or coming off of last night, to be honest with you. Outside of the other stuff that happened, outside of the Kendrick Lamar stuff.
Yeah, I feel like people are talking about that way more today because the game was so decisive.
Like, what is the overwhelming debate that people are having in their offices, in their workplaces today is whether they liked Kendrick Lamar or not, or whether it was for them or not, or whether they could understand him or not.
And I bet you with at least 75% accuracy, I could tell you whether or not someone enjoyed that Super Bowl halftime show without knowing anything else about you other than what you look like.
Would you think that I would have enjoyed the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yes.
Well, I did.
You're of an age that understands who and what Kendrick Lamar is.
I love bits too. I love bits.
There were a lot of bits jammed into that.
He made a bit out of whether or not he was going to do the song or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You going to do this? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? No, why don't we hang on for a second? Then he does a fun song that everybody knows. And then here comes Samuel L. Jackson dressed up as Uncle Sam again. And he's like, that's more like it. That's what America wants.
Happy dancing music.
Good job by you, Kendrick. And then it goes, ba-ba-ba-dum. And then he just starts ripping Drake to shreds. Did people not like? I feel like that was pretty common knowledge that song was a Drake diss track, and it just so happened to become the most popular song in America over the last several months.
You would have to have no knowledge of who Kendrick Lamar is to not know that was a diss track.
Maybe.
Now, maybe you don't know like the ins and outs or who it might be about, even though he says Drake's name in the song. But
he looks at the camera,
smiling, and then the lights in the stadium sign "Game Over."
Mm-hmm. I mean, it is definitely a game. So is that officially it then for that rap beef? Is it over?
I believe so. There's nowhere higher to go. Now you can still keep it going, but it's like, okay, what are we doing here, guys?
Jeffrey writes in the fact that the chain on Kendrick was a lowercase a for A minor.
That's right. No, this had levels to it. This was like an onion.
It's so funny. It was a great night for haters. That's what the takeaway from the Super Bowl is. It was an awesome night for haters.
See, if we still had Chappelle's show, they could have done like the haters ball go to the Super Bowl.
Seriously, it really was that. Haters of the Chiefs, you guys had a great time because what did you get right on the first series? An incredibly questionable offensive pass interference call that just really, really kickstarted our night.
Oh, what are we going to do here?
But then we got the makeup call.
We did.
We got the makeup call, and then it was a blowout. So haters of the Chiefs, you guys are happy today. People who generally love rap beef, Josh.
I do love it.
You love beef. You love beefs. We know this about you.
Uh-huh.
You had a great night last night. And I wouldn't consider you to be a hater of the Chiefs, but you like to be an innocent bystander when other people hate each other. You love
that is a perfect encapsulation of it. I also love a changing of the guard.
You love a changing of the guard, things like that. You love when people do the nighty night.
I do. We didn't have any like literal nighty nights, but there were a lot of metaphorical nighty nights in that game.
There was some nighty nights, and then the literal nighty night was game over at the end of it. So I think that's who really won the Super Bowl last night. Haters. Don't let the haters win. Not last night. Haters,
hard to argue what you're saying there.
The haters won the Super Bowl. Yeah, I think that was kind of the story. Well, and of course, the football, the Eagles defense. Wow.
Gosh, it's almost like drafting everyone from Georgia on defense is a good move.
I mean, just overwhelming and overpowering the Chiefs' offensive line. And it definitely, this was not we had not seen Patrick Mahomes in this condition for a long time, right? He was sped up. He was antsy back there. And then, even when it seemed as if he had a clean area to throw it and they got the ball back, they were down 17-0 at the end of the first half. And it was like, okay, maybe they put a stop together here. Maybe they could get something out of this. Immediately, one of his offensive linemen got pushed into him and he fell over, and that's when he threw the pick to Bond. And it was kind of game over after that. So that defense was incredible. Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl, but did he shush the doubters? Did he? I mean, he probably did. Like, maybe he did a 99 or something like that. But do his doubters have less ammo today? I got a tweet. Well, we got a tweet at Happer Show this weekend, and it was, keep telling yourself that Hurts is bad, from Michael. He was in a lot of people's mentions this weekend.
He was.
He was keeping receipts.
John Bishop said he liked Jalen Hurts.
Was it a great
And that guy was in the replies going, "Why didn't you say it on unsportsmanlike conduct?"
So we could talk about that when we come back as well. Tom Brady, the graphic, the score bug, and I have takes on the national anthem, America the Beautiful, things like that.
You have takes on the anthem.
Yeah, I have takes on the anthem. Well, I've already
careful.
Careful. I've already said how our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, is not necessarily a great song. But I have things that I want during the Super Bowl national anthem and America the Beautiful and the lead up. Did we get them?
Careful guy who's going to be seen with red Panda tomorrow.
All right, we're back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Travis writes in on YouTube. America the Beautiful with Trombone Shorty, followed by John Batiste singing the Star Spangled Banner might have been the best combo of those songs ever. 0 notes, absolute perfection. Let me be clear. I have no problem with who was singing or performing these songs. But here's what I want when I watch America the Beautiful and the Star Spangled Banner before the Super Bowl. I want to be moved to emotion. I want to be moved to emotion.
Okay, yeah.
I want a slow, tear-jerking rendition of those songs. Like beautiful, almost kind of not opera, but like these, long holding notes. And I want the person who's singing
You want
it.
Whitney Houston.
I want the person who's singing it to be moved to emotion while they're singing it. Here's what I do not want. I do not want a dance party during America the Beautiful, which is kind of what we got. It was kind of like a pop. It was like a dancey America the Beautiful.
It was a fun version
and it was
that encapsulated the host city.
It was a fun, upbeat version of the Star Spangled Banner as well. I just think that's the moment to just slow it down and make some people cry. Now, there were some people crying anyway. Chris Jones, he always cries during the national anthem.
He had the tissue locked and loaded.
Yeah.
Almost as if it was performative. Nick Sirianni didn't even cry.
Yeah.
He cries at everything.
That guy's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'll say about those two songs. I want it to be long and dragged out and like almost sad.
And
sad, but like reflective in a way.
Fox was hunting. They were hunting for tears.
They were looking for the tears.
They didn't find very many.
Tough to find them when the song is upbeat and almost. I'm not saying that the song shouldn't be joyful. You should have joy when you're singing the song, but it was not the tenor or the tone that I was looking for. That's all. You feels like you don't have anything.
I was reading a comment that I can't read on the air.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why does it? Why
I mean, I could edit the curse word.
Go for it.
Okay. Absolute BS that you weren't moved to emotion by multiple key changes in America the Beautiful. What the hell? Now, Ian is of music.
That guy gets it. Look at his picture is a microphone.
Yeah.
With a stand.
I talk into a microphone a lot, and my photos don't have microphones in them.
Travis says, I'm sorry, your saltine American sensibilities can't handle the beautiful flavor of those performances. What can I say? I'm a sucker. Like Josh, I think you put it really well. I'm a sucker for the slow, emotional Whitney Houston, like big sounding deals, not like the, hey, let's put some horns behind this and like there's a time and a place. That's all. I've seen Trombone Shorty in concert.
Yeah. Many would argue New Orleans is that time and place.
Yeah. Not the Super Bowl.
Okay.
There was a lot of do they usually, and obviously the circumstances are, it's taking place a month after tragic events, happened in New Orleans, in a very famous place in New Orleans. But like if my memory serves me correctly, they don't have that many nods to the city. Now, New Orleans is obviously unique. It's not Phoenix, and it's not.
I feel New Orleans gets more because it's a unique American city.
Yeah,
whereas
and that's probably right.
Phoenix and next year Santa Clara, not necessarily the most distinct cities in America. Vegas.
Like, what would you do for if you're doing like all these Phoenix hat tips? What are you doing? Like, we got these drunk people at the Waste Management Open. What do we do with that?
Hey,
got spring training
to honor our
rich people like to move here to play golf. That's what I think of when I think of Phoenix.
The indigenous people of this area have gifted everyone turquoise necklaces.
See, wouldn't quite hit.
Yeah, not the same. Not the same.
Wouldn't quite hit. That's all.
You've offered a hot take for our nation's anthem.
That's right, Josh. I went out there on a limb.
I will also go on a limb. I never need to see Harry Connick Jr. strutting out there with his Cajun sensibilities ever again.
How you feeling, baby? How you feeling, baby?
Oh, that's right. Welcome on down to the bayou now. This is Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, he toned it up, didn't he?
Yeah.
He got it going.
Like, come on, guy. Come on.
You know, in New Orleans, we don't really say hi, how are you? We say how you feeling, baby. All right, that's cool.
DEI hire.
He's white.
He was the only white guy.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. First of all, I don't even know what I don't know what Harry Connick Jr. does. What does he do?
He's an actor. He's sometimes a musician.
What's he in? I've never seen that guy before.
Hope Floats with Sandra Bullock.
That's not a movie that people have seen.
Look it up, kids. Poll question: have you seen Hope Floats?
Yeah, with Sandra Bullock.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have not. No, I have not.
This is coming back less than 50% for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what Harry Connick Jr. has ever done except for welcome everybody to New Orleans, baby.
I mean, that might be what he's most famous for.
Just being a New Orleans guy?
Professional Cajun Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
No, he's in Independence Day. He's
all right.
He's Jimmy. He's Will Smith's friend.
All right.
Who, spoiler alert, doesn't make it to the end of the movie.
Oh, ouch.
That's right.
All right, the score bug. We're just hitting all the boxes here.
Boom, boom.
The score bug.
I hope this person doesn't take offense when I say this. It looks like I made that score bug on Canva. Not great.
We had there was some stuff that leaked out before the game, and it was like, here's a rough draft of what Fox's score bug is going to look like. Because for whatever reason, it became the thing now to do new score bugs during the World Series, the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals. Like here's the college football playoff, the national championship game. Here we're gonna roll something out. I don't know why it became commonplace to do that at the biggest event of the year. Like maybe you could try, if you're college basketball and you're going to roll one out during the Final Four, maybe you consider doing one in like January, while people, just to see what people feel about it. And then you roll something out for the Final Four, maybe an adjusted version of that for the Final Four. Same thing with Fox and the Super Bowl. Maybe you consider, hey, let's do this in like October. We'll see if anybody notices or if anybody likes it or if anybody cares or what some of the things that we could do better about it. And then we'll fine tune it and we'll find a way to make it better, make it good, something that everybody can enjoy for the Super Bowl. No, cold turkey. We're going in to the Microsoft Paint version of the score bug last night. Like at the very least, I would have thought put the logos on there. And
that would have looked better.
I think what happened is it was in response to people saying there's so much going on in the score bugs and the score bugs are too big. It was still too big, by the way. The score bugs are too big and it's just become too much over the years and we're putting too much information on the screen and these huge, remember Fox, they still do this for college football, the huge wipes at the end when they score touchdowns and it puts like an animated version of Travion Henderson. It's like touchdown, Travion Henderson. It's like this huge.
We don't have to have a media day with the players anymore. We can just animate them. Great. Okay. Well, it looks stupid.
So weird.
Just use a photograph.
Why did they do that? Why did they do that?
So it would wipe itself and then it would come up like with a picture of Jalen Hurts and it would have Jalen Hurts stat line. I thought that looked okay. But the main score bug that they used for the game just looked. It looked incomplete.
I get that we want simple, and I don't think that's a bad critique for what some of these things have become over the years. But they may have overcorrected, Josh.
Yeah.
They may have overcorrected.
I'm looking at it right now. Like, okay, why don't I like this? Because I'm having trouble finding like a specific. It's just aesthetically ugly.
It's just ugly. Point blank. Period. It's just not good. That's it. Objectively.
Okay, that can be enough here.
I think so.
Okay,
I mean, you can tell me why, but you've already explained it. It's overly overly simplistic. Like there was no. I mean, for all of the flavor that we just talked about with New Orleans and the Super Bowl and all of the different colors that were in the stadium. And like, I thought all that stuff was really good. And it definitely felt like New Orleans. You did a score bug that was just, all right, let me type KCPHI. Then we'll have those numbers, and that'll tell you what the score is.
We done here, guys?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to lunch.
No background, no drop, no nothing behind it. It was just, that was it.
Hey, Connor, I got those logos for the score bug that Fox wanted. What? No, the score bug's done.
Yeah, no, we did that already. I typed it into this computer. PHIKC. Alex Lincoln writes in.
Hi, Alex.
What's Harry Connick Jr.'s best movie? Dolphin Tale?
He was in that. Good pull.
Chris says Harry Connick Jr. had a cameo in Cheers in the 80s. It was also in Memphis Belle.
I've seen every episode of Cheers, so I know I've seen that.
Okay. Travis says, I'm not going to lie. There is zero chance I could pick Harry Connick Jr. out of a lineup.
Oh,
I've definitely seen that guy before, but and like when my wife said that's Harry Connick Jr., I said, oh, okay, that's Harry Connick Jr. But then I asked some follow-up questions, like, what does he do?
Hard to say.
Where is he?
Now,
he's a professional Cajun, like you said.
Maybe the women in our lives would point to P.S. I Love You as a Harry Connick Jr. vehicle.
Okay, that's a thing.
Uh-huh.
People have watched that. He definitely seems like a good-looking guy, you know?
And he's looked like that for the last 35 years.
I got you. I see what they're doing. I got you. Greg in Myrtle Beach chimes in.
Oh, hello, Greg.
Was the no talent rap artist diss track designed to distract us from the fact that he has exactly zero talent and is stealing money?
No.
I don't think so either.
Wrong.
Kendrick Lamar definitely has talent.
One of the seminal artists of his generation. Won a Pulitzer Prize for...
He won a Pulitzer Prize?
Yeah.
For diss track songwriting?
No, not.
Oh.
They don't have a diss track category yet.
They should.
They should. He'd win it.
They really should. A couple more questions. Is Jimmy Johnson okay? So right before they're about to lead into the big stuff, you know, like we've turned to 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
You have prepared all your food. It's out. You likely have a plate. You're eating chicken wings or buffalo chicken dip, for crying out loud, or something like that. Whatever you might have, you're locked in. You're in front of your TV starting at 5 o'clock. And here comes, the giant table full of all the people at Fox. And then I didn't even know how it started. I don't know how they transitioned into it. It was just like, hey, it's me. I'm young Jimmy Johnson walking across the football field. And then he grew into old Jimmy Johnson. They told the story of his coaching life or his life in general. And then at the end, AI Jimmy Johnson shook hands with real Jimmy Johnson. And then he turned into real Jimmy Johnson. And then they went to real Jimmy Johnson, who was there live at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. It was like, wow, that was special. And then the immediate follow-up was like, Jimmy, do you have something to tell us? Are you retiring? And he's like, well, day by day. And I'm like, well, I kind of thought that was leading to something. I mean, I'm all for honoring our heroes and our greats. But it was odd. It was odd.
The intro from Kurt Menefee was, hey, we've partnered with this AI tool, whatever the heck it was, Cybermate or what, something like, I don't know what the hell it was called. So
Officially,
I was like, okay, yeah. So this is going to be like a long commercial for AI, but we're Fox. We're going to use it to tell the story of Jimmy Johnson's career. Okay, that's great. He's had an interesting career. I'd like to hear about it. And it goes through all the things. And then Jimmy's blubbering at the end, and I'm like, oh my gosh, have I missed some
is
sort
he
of announcement? Yeah.
Is he okay? Yeah. He is okay.
I still don't know.
He is okay, and he is not retiring. At least not at the moment.
At least he didn't retire on air.
I thought he was going to. I thought that was lit. Jimmy, you have something to tell us? We have this AI platform. Let's use it. And you can just say your piece at the end. This is my last game. I would have not been surprised by that after the 3.5 minute AI thing.
is not essential to that desk. If he were to go onto his boat and just be Jimmy Johnson for the rest of his life, that'd be great.
Maybe that's what they were doing, though. I mean, Fox has made it so there's 40 people there, and so none of them are actually really essential.
Yeah.
And then every time someone leaves or someone has, gets elected to the Hall of Fame or something like that, they can have a celebration for them. It's a celebration.
Keep Michael. I'd like you to keep Howie, but he's not essential. He's never said anything about anyone.
What about Gronk?
No, he's not giving me much.
No. He didn't even do the kick of destiny this year.
No, quitter.
It was Peyton versus Eli.
I got it right.
Also,
Eli.
yeah, if you didn't bet Eli in the
You're
kick
an
of
idiot.
destiny, you're an idiot. Totally. Completely agree. I think I won $10 in bonus bets.
That's right.
On that.
I sure did.
Good job by both.
I probably have to use them by 12:30 today.
I believe it's a 1 week from today.
Okay.
I checked it last night.
Well, I'll use them. It's fine.
Tough night for Dylan Raiola.
Oh yeah, the
aggregators.
The bar stools got him.
The aggregators got him. They got him bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we didn't need to see the same tweet 500 times in a row. If you weren't the first person to make that joke, you probably shouldn't have made that joke. Also, if there was anybody who was making the joke of they should have kept the Chiefs out of the playoff last night, the college football honks or whatever, bad joke.
Bad joke. Get the hell out of here.
Bad joke.
You're
Please,
not funny.
Yes. Please leave.
Also, everyone who covers Husker football, you did not need to do the Dylan Raiola retweet. You didn't need to. Just a lot of people are going to say a lot of things about that man over the next 3 years. You don't have to give me every single one of them. It's fine.
Yeah. He was our boy was catching strays though.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tough night for him. Patrick Mahomes plays poorly, and all of a sudden he's Dylan Raiola.
I will admit, the first time I heard that joke, I laughed pretty hard.
Hey, Dylan Raiola was never that bad in a game this year, was he?
Ooh. Let's take a look. Game logs aren't hard to find.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably look to some of the instances where, after he missed Luke Lindenmeyer in the end zone against Illinois. I think there was the Rutgers game after that. It was very windy, Josh. There was no wind in New Orleans last night at the Superdome.
3 picks against Indiana.
Yeah, that wasn't pretty.
Only sacked 2 times, though.
Yeah.
Sacked 6 times against Illinois.
Okay. So he probably equaled that a couple times last year.
51% completion against UCLA.
Alex Lincoln writes in, poll question, did Dylan Raiola play that bad last year?
Nope.
You're not going to do that poll question?
Nope.
I
don't want that kind of smoke.
All right. Many thoughts, by the way, on Harry Connick Jr.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
People telling us who he is. James says Harry Connick Jr. is a musician first, mainly jazz, great singer. And yes, the B-17 tail gunner Memphis Blue, but hasn't done much of note for like 20 years other than look like he's still 25.
That's right.
He is very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him that piece of it. And then we also, this is as we run through the ancillary things that happened in the game last night, we got a text here from Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Is it me or did Tom Brady look weird?
He got a new face for the game. It's a big game. He got a new face for it. It's fine. What of it?
My wife was like, did he get his cheeks sucked in again?
Yes.
It's like,
yes, he did, dear.
I didn't notice that he looked that different. I was more going to talk about how not good he was at his job during the game, but we could talk about how he looks too.
I mean, we knew the terrible work was coming.
Why does everything have to be about him? Like, I know, I get it. I get why he got the job. But at a certain point, it has to be about the game that you're doing. Like, you have at a certain point, you have to be the broadcaster of the game, not, oh, we have this guy in the broadcast booth because he's been through all of these situations. But then he makes like everything about he everything that happened in the game was like, oh yeah, I've been there before. Oh yeah, I know that guy. He's a great friend. Remember when Kevin Hart roasted me? I didn't like that. So let's shout out Kevin Hart. I mean, like I said in the crossover, the thing with the long snapper. I mean, it was totally square peg, round hole in there. It's like, yeah, I had a long snapper in my career. I'm like, what?
I had a long
Everyone
snapper.
did.
I told him to snap that thing real slow so we could maybe get an offsides penalty. And then Mike Pereira, who's sitting right next to me, told me that was cheating.
They've gotten into this weird zone where Kevin Burkhardt just sees something happen. Like this is when you know they're not there yet from a chemistry perspective.
Right.
And how could you be? It's not like Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady are hanging out with each other. A lot when these crews, they go out on the road and they're on the road for months and months and months at a time. Tom Brady is not going out to dinner before the game.
Like,
like he is owning the Raiders and being Tom Brady. And so every game he does, he feels like he's parachuting in, even though he has the requisite football knowledge required to like do the job. But this is what I said at the very beginning. Like he just feels like too big of a star or too big of a person to be in that chair. Because I think he lacks the humility to not talk about himself.
Like love him or hate him.
Also, why was he saying Patrick
Mahomes?
Is he boys with Patrick?
15.
Patrick.
Patty.
Oh, Patrick, I know how this feels, Patrick. I've lost Super Bowls before. I've also won Super Bowls, so Jalen, I know how you feel right now too. Like, that is not good information for people.
Tony Romo, despite his probably over enthusiastic nature, is very good at telling you what's happening on the screen. Like, okay, he's reading this, so he wants to do this, and it worked, it didn't work, whatever.
Yeah.
Jim. But
no, it's not delivered in the best way.
Right.
But he clearly watches and understands what they're going to do, and also clearly has relationships with all these people in the sport, but doesn't feel the need to talk about it all the time. He's just like, this guy's good. Like that's kind of what we need. And so, like I said, they're in this weird spot from a chemistry perspective where Burkhardt will like see something that happens in the game, and then he'll have to literally prompt Brady with a question. Oh, hey, that probably looks familiar to you, right, Tom? And then it gives Brady an excuse to talk about himself for 2 straight minutes.
Like you can see the seams of their work. Hey, I have to get you talking. So I'm going to reference a very obvious point in your career that you should be talking
and
about. And
that's fine if you're doing a broadcast with somebody you've never met before and it's not the Super Bowl. But it was both the Super Bowl and somebody that he had met before.
I saw online, I think it was Friday afternoon. It was like, there's a very simple solution for Fox. Fox wants people to see that they have Tom Brady, but they also want to do a good job. Why not a 3-man booth with Greg Olsen, Tom Brady, and Kevin Burkhardt?
Too much Tom Brady talking about himself.
Sure. I imagine there's probably not enough time for everybody to get their words in if it's a 3-man booth like that. But
why do you need Tom Brady? Why does Tom Brady need to be there?
No one is tuning in going, well, Tom's working the game. I got to see what Tom's up to.
If Tom Brady has a take about something, he has 1 million avenues to say what he needs to say. He does not need to be doing the game.
Well, one less, I believe he had to drop the
podcast with Jim Gray.
The podcast with Jim Gray, yes. So 1 fewer.
Chris writes in.
Hi, Chris.
Was Tom Brady limping? My question is, was he limping in that segment where he looked like a dork with the suit pants on and the t-shirt tucked in, and they walked around Bourbon Street where Lady Gaga was singing? What a sentence, by the way. He seriously looked like he was having trouble walking. I didn't really notice, but I did notice the t-shirt tucked into the pants.
Well, that watch was probably weighing him down. He couldn't properly carry his arms and body any way, which way he wanted.
I don't get it. I do not get it with Brady. And I hope
a bad investment.
I hope this isn't like confirmation bias from me, because I'd never thought he was going to be relatable enough to be able to do this successfully. Because I really think you have to be that. Like, you have to have some humility. Because you're ultimately broadcasting to people. Like, yes, you're in it for the game and you know about the game. That's great. But you're talking to viewers. You are talking to viewers of the game. And I just don't like, I think he lacks the humility to be able to do that job.
Tell me what's happening. Tell me what might happen on this play,
Mhm.
and let Kevin do a lot of the work.
And if you got some stories, great. But it doesn't, like, they've clearly told him, hey, lean in on this stories thing.
Yeah, be a story. Broadcasting is all about storytelling now, Tom.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, man, I don't know. He won a bunch of Super Bowls. He lost a bunch of Super Bowls. We know. Anyway, we'll talk about the night for Patrick Mahomes, including his rat tail. And yeah, Patrick Mahomes, first Super Bowl participant quarterback with a rat tail. Congratulations to him.
He had a rat tail.
I
missed that. I'm sorry.
It was a little strand of his hair that was kind of falling off. It's like, oh wow, it's got something going on. Jalen Hurts and the rest of it. And we'll ask Mike Schaefer his thoughts on the Super Bowl.
What was his favorite commercial?
Yes, absolutely. When we come back on 1620 The Zone.
Come to Cardinals.
Yeah, I have statistics to back up that we have people that listen.
Mike Schaefer.
Anytime there's sort of a debate as to who can do something, Happer would always put his name forth, for sure.
Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I could be a star.
All right, we're joined now on the hotline by our good friend Mike Schaefer of Husker 247, starting us off for the week. Schaefer, how you feeling, baby?
I'm good.
That's what Harry Connick. That's what Harry Connick Jr. said. So I feel like I would take it into today.
Sorry, I failed to understand the reference, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. I have no strong thoughts on the halftime show other than I didn't pay attention and I don't care because it's a halftime show. So why would I care? Is there any other lightning level topic to get to besides just straight sports?
I was almost like we could have used a good ref controversy today because in the lack of an actual good competitive football game, we could have used some good ref conspiracy theories, and it looked like we were going to get it for a second, but then it was erased immediately.
Can we talk about the one that made people mad early in the game that I thought was a pretty obvious call?
The OPI?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, go for it. You have your platform, Schaefer. Go for it.
Well, I don't understand how it wasn't obvious to everyone. AJ Brown hand made contact with the helmet and the face mask, like clear hands to the face. Seems like that would be part of OPI. It was weird. I guess Gene's territory. I didn't hear this because I wasn't paying attention that closely. It was a wonderful Super Bowl to not care or to not feel compelled to pay attention because the game could just play and I could stuff my face with food and follow Hudson around as he wandered through someone else's house. And it was great in that regard. But I did happen to watch this play and then the fallout from it, because the place where I was at was very anti-Chiefs and everyone was very upset about that call. I thought it was obvious. Like AJ Brown, not so much just the action of the push, but he clearly is making contact with the face mask, the helmet. Like, you have hands to the face. It gets called on defensive backs. It gets called on defensive linemen, offensive linemen. But you see this all the time. I don't understand why that was a controversial call other than the team that it was, that benefited from it was the Chiefs. And everyone jumped into the, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get it. It was a clear and obvious infraction. Whether you want to call it OPI or hands to the face, I don't see any argument against it.
Did you?
That's all I can offer.
Did you vocalize this at your anti-Chiefs party?
I did, and I was booed.
I'm happy. I'm glad you did it, though. You stand up for what you believe in. I thought it was a bad call. I mean, yes, his hand was on his hand touched the face mask. I didn't think it affected the play that much.
It literally shoved and turned the guy's head. His head moved.
I just think we get OPI is such an uncommon call. And I always feel like there should be more of it. And then we called it in that situation. It just felt like there was not enough contact to warrant it from my perspective. But
if it's a defensive back and he hits a wide receiver at the beginning of the play and he touches his helmet like that, that's an obvious call that everybody agrees with, right?
Probably, yeah. But there's a different standard between OPI and DPI, it seems.
I guess, but it would still be illegal hands to the face.
I agree with you. I don't think there should be. I think there should be more OPI than gets called. But I don't know.
That's interesting. People would hate that.
Yeah.
People would really, really dislike that.
Well,
namely the Minnesota Vikings.
I guess what I'm saying is
they would be against this idea of yours.
You should a greater percentage of pass interference penalties should be OPI. That's what I'm saying. Not more penalties should be called. I am anti that. But generally, it feels like the offensive players get away with a lot more.
So what I'm hearing from you is you felt like the officiating crew in the Nebraska-Purdue game did a good job.
No, I want less penalties. Didn't the stat come out that Nebraska was the best DPI they were the best offensive DPI team in the country. They benefited from defensive pass interference more than anybody in the country or something like that.
Which is incredible because it probably could have been called 25 more times just for Jamal Banks alone.
I know.
The season.
And we talk about how their wide receivers weren't very good, and yet they're the most penalties drawn guys in the country, it seemed.
I think there's a correlation to that in this sense. A lot of teams played Nebraska man-to-man because they felt like they could get physical with their wide receivers. If officials allow them to play through it, then you are going to have more opportunities where you feel like it should be called. Even if they call like a small percentage of the infractions that are happening, you're still getting a lot more kind of one-on-one go routes or routes that kind of lead to that sort of thing. And I do think Raiola knows how to look for and throw those passes in such a way that you might get the call, even if it's not aimed to be a completion. I think that's a skill. I mean, I do agree in that regard. And it's funny because Nebraska benefited greatly and yet at the same time probably didn't get as much benefit as they should have, particularly in the red zone, where it was horrendous how often guys were being grabbed and basically mauled while the ball was still in the air.
It's called weaponized pass interference, man. If you could take advantage of it, then
the entire strategy of the Detroit Lions, or it was. We'll see how that works without Aaron Glenn, but and that's the Eagles did the same thing. The Saints have very good NFL teams have basically. I think this is what Sean Payton and the Broncos do, and he did it at the Saints. Make the officials call the game and then adjust to it. But otherwise, be physical because some officials are just going to be way more willing to let things play out.
On the other side of the coin, Schaefer, there was a basketball game in Lincoln yesterday that featured many fouls that should not have been fouls, especially in the first half. So we got to square that one up too. That was
the first half officiating and the second half officiating came from two different crews, right? Like those couldn't have been the same guys.
You know what's funny? Because I've now seen that in person a few times. I think it was Creighton's Providence game last week where they were just calling it, and miraculously for like the first time ever, like Ryan Kalkbrenner was in foul trouble. And I'm like, this never happened.
That's legal.
And it's not legal. It's generally not legal. And then in the second half, they're calling like a completely different game. They go in at halftime and they must be like, all right, we got to loosen it up a little bit. And it's happened in a couple games in this area in the last week.
Well, and it flipped in such a way where, and I don't know if Hoiberg did a good job of making his case, but it flipped in such a way where Ohio State was in the second half actually getting called for kind of having a more physical defense, whereas Nebraska had so many offensive player foul calls that it like inflated their total foul. So in the second half, they only ended up with like 5 or 6 total fouls, having had, I think, close to 12 in the first half. So it was a weird game, but it was a huge win for Nebraska. I just got done writing and put on the site kind of the unsung hero in that game. And it's a weird argument to make, but it's a very Mike Schaefer argument to make. Braxton Mia's 7 minutes at the end of the first half were really, really big for reasons that seem completely unidentifiable on the box score. But if you watched it play out, he scored the last 5 points for Nebraska in the final 6:44 after Bryce made a layup with 6:44 remaining. He scores the last 5 points in the first half, prevents Nebraska from likely being down double digits, provided good interior defense, picked up a rebound or two, and provided a post-court presence when you weren't knocking down other shots. And he made half of his season total of free throws on his 3 attempts in the first half. Like just a wildly important 7 minutes from Braxton Mia that no one probably has any reason to remember, but I couldn't wait to write about today. And I did. And you can read more about it at Husker 24/7.
Schaefer, I'm with you. You have a supporter in me. I've been Braxton Mia has seen his minutes go down quite a bit over the last several games here, to the point where he had some DNPs both against Illinois and Wisconsin, and then 7 minutes against Oregon, 4 minutes against Washington, 7 minutes against Ohio State. The problem, I think he can be an effective player when he's out there, but you can only play him for 5 minutes at a time before he gets tired. And it feels like Nebraska has they either have a bunch of guys in foul trouble, and then they have guys who can't be out there for very long at a time. Like, how many times this year have you seen Burke tap like I got to come out of the game? But I don't know. It feels like they're kind of figuring it out from in chaos from a rotation standpoint.
I think part of his diminished minutes are Hoiberg knows there's certain teams that want to run, and he can't play in that style. And so you have to protect him in that regard. Like the Maryland game will be interesting because Burke will be hurt. I would be surprised if he plays on Thursday. I don't know anything more than what everybody else heard from Fred Hoiberg, but you're going to have to figure out how to have Mia in there without also sacrificing the ability to be able to get back on defense or, to even try to push on offense. But he is really kind of valuable in his own unique way, especially when Bryce is getting downhill, because the more defenders have to rotate towards Bryce, the more it opens up those lob dunks.
Mm-hmm.
And say what you will about, him only scoring 4 to 6 points in a conference game. Field goal percentage is pretty awesome. And I think he's made pretty much all of his shots that he's taken in the last 6 games or something. And it's not many, but it's very valuable, especially for a team where scoring can be really hard sometimes. Like I said, he was the final 5 points of the last 644 because of the patented Nebraska scoring drought. It came from Braxton Mia, and yes, they won by 8, and they dominated the second half, and yada, yada, yada. But that was a really critical juncture of the game. Nebraska struggles to get to halftime. I don't know why.
Yep.
It's like the final little bit of the first half. They just don't have enough juice to finish it off. And he was really important yesterday, and he's going to be important as the season goes forward. I did not think they were going to get anything from Braxton Mia, and I have come all the way full circle to thinking he's more valuable than people realize. He's not going to play a ton of minutes, but when he's out there, he does affect the game in different ways.
So to your point, Braxton Mia has not missed a field goal attempt since December 30th against Southern.
So the entirety of Big Ten play since it resumed?
Correct. So 3, 5, 8, 9. He's 10 for 10 since the new year started.
Incredible. Again, it's not like you're asking him to shoot more, but it's a situational thing where if Jawan or Bryce are getting downhill and can flip the ball to him, that's a guy that can dunk with authority. He's 7'1", he's, take advantage of the skill set. You're not asking him to score 10 points and to take 5 shots. You're asking him to maximize his 2 or 3 attempts he might have in a game.
Yeah. Any thoughts on what Bryce Williams is doing right now before we let you go?
Yeah, this is we're seeing a little bit of an evolution maybe for Bryce Williams. I know that I've come on this radio show or other radio shows and have had these conversations with other people where I've always said I want 10% James Palmer or Teran Petaway to find its way to Bryce, where I think he's such an efficient scorer and he values efficient play that he never wants to be the volume guy. But when you're the best player on a team that struggles sometimes offensively, sometimes you have to take the bad shot. You because it's better for you to take the bad shot than it is to watch Raleigh Wooster or Burke shoot a 3-pointer that doesn't touch any part of the rim, which seems to happen at least once a game for each of them. So I would much rather Bryce Williams take the bad shot, and I think he's kind of embraced that a little bit. And he's on a heater. There's no question about it. He's that Illinois game, whatever happened in overtime, we're going to look back at that, and if Nebraska makes the NCAA tournament, that's sort of the tipping point.
It is.
And he's been great since then. He had, I think, 8 points in that overtime. He had the explosion against Oregon. He was great in the second half against Washington, where he just knocked down some dead-eye 3-pointers as Nebraska came back there. And then yesterday, he was in control of the game through different parts. There was, some moments where it's all right, this is where Bryce needs to take over, and it doesn't necessarily happen. But then there are moments where he's just I'm going downhill, and you're not going to stop me, and I'm going to the free throw line. Nebraska is super, super dangerous when Bryce Williams plays that way, because he's either going to finish with the 2 points on a layup, or he's going to get different guys in foul trouble because you can't stay in front of him. If he's able to force that contact and he gets rewarded with free throws, he is a really, really critical player for Nebraska. He's a great free throw shooter. and he gets other teams in foul trouble. And then you can work Mia off of that, or you get Hoiberg snuck in the corner and he can hit a three. I mean, there's just so much that happens for Nebraska when Bryce is able to get downfield successfully.
Yep, he's been way more aggressive over the last few. That's for sure. 27, 28, 23, and 24 going back to that Illinois game that Schaefer mentioned. All right, Schaefer, appreciate it. Enjoy the conversations about many things regarding the Super Bowl today with others.
I have largely managed to avoid all the dumb conversations, so I'm good with it. You know, let's just move on to the next year. We don't really have to celebrate the Eagles for that long. Congratulations to them. Cam Jurgens, the new face of Nebraska football in the NFL. Congratulations to him. And, you know, from there, we move right into the draft, right? Like, that's how this works.
Yeah, sure. Let's just forget about it.
Or for you and I, it's baseball season. And that's really what matters on a day like
this. First team to 82 wins the AL Central.
Should have a little... just a little graphic of us all in different cars representing different AL Central teams. You know, just update that randomly throughout the year.
Sounds like a good bit. All right, Schaefer. See you later.
Yeah.
Mike Schaefer, Husker 247. You could check out his ramblings on Braxton, Mia, and others on Husker 247 right now. Let's take a break. We got the odd news coming up on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, Josh.
Connor.
Time for the odd news.
It is. How about that Super Bowl?
Oh,
huh?
Nice. That's not odd.
It was not. Well,
there were some parts about it that were
odd. Particularly the post game, in which the fine folks at the National Broadcasting Corporation wish congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, NBC. That's right. They, everybody wants to congratulate the winner. Everybody wants to tie it into their own brand. NBC chose to do that with a graphic that read as follows. Come with me. It's kind of a long graphic.
Okay.
Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles on their second Super Bowl victory and the first ever NFL championship win by a team which began the season with a game available nationally exclusively on a streaming service. NBC put that on a graphic.
Wow.
If you have forgotten, remember when the Eagles played the Packers in Brazil
I
start
do.
the season? It was
Joey Colbert will never let me forget.
He's him and Josh have mutually agreed that it is Commanders Eagles first game of that Thursday night game to kick off the season. Makes sense. I mean, it's that or the Cowboys, right? That'd be the only other team you'd even consider, right?
Yeah. It's definitely Jaden Daniels.
I would think so. Rematch of the NFC Championship game, blah 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 blah.
So what a graphic.
Mm-hmm.
NBC's got the Super Bowl next year, right?
That is correct.
Congratulations to the Eagles on their second Super Bowl victory and the first ever championship win by a team which began the season with a game available nationally exclusively on a streaming service. I mean, that is correct.
Oh no, it's factually very correct. Just an odd flex.
The first comment is, are you sure? I could be wrong, but I thought the 86 Giants played their opener on Max.
Well written.
I mean, that's incredible.
Why not just tout?
I think but I mean, they knew what they were doing.
This would get more traction than if we said, hey, the Eagles kicked off their season on Peacock.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you, NBC PR, for having a bit of a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see it come from NBC PR and you're like, this is normally just words, right? There's no dry humor. There's no sarcasm in here. You expect a certain thing. This time, it featured a little humor. They knew what they were doing.
Tell me if you agree.
It's called engagement farming.
Yes. It has the vibes of that Penn State graphic. Every Super Bowl has featured a Penn State player, and then very small, except for
the ones that weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Very similar vibes.
Okay, that's what I got when I was reading it.
Yep.
Let's see. Other Super Bowl oddities. Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
Oh, well, I thought she had her day at the award show.
Yeah. This weekend, I learned that her name is Jordan Hudson. Didn't know her name until this weekend.
Jordan.
Didn't bother to look. That's on me. That's a me thing.
Jordan.
Did you see her? Did you see her this weekend?
No, not at all. I only saw her at the NFL award shows.
Oh, well, this weekend she was spotted walking around New Orleans, a city that famously hates the Atlanta Falcons, on the arm of a man who also famously hates the Atlanta Falcons because they didn't hire him last year, and
I don't think that's A.
Well, how about the Super Bowl?
I would say that's A.
Okay, we'll let that be A. But either way, she was seen wearing a T-shirt that said Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl 51 champions.
A thing that famously did not happen.
That's right. The internet enjoyed that this shirt exists, and
that's funny.
She got her hands on one. Yes, it's very funny. Also, during the Super Bowl, she wanted her picture taken, and Bill could not have wanted his picture taken any less.
Yeah, that seems like the common through line here for the last 5 days, I guess, whenever she's been in the public eye, both at this NFL honors thing and then apparently this. Like, it seems like she really wants to have her picture taken.
That's going to be the thing that breaks this couple up, right? Like, that'd be a real thing. Like, hey, you got to stop dragging me into these photos. I don't like my picture taken.
Do you think she consults with Bill before she goes out in public with an Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl 51 T-shirt on? Like, do you think she's like,
is this okay, Bill?
What if I did this? Do you think that would be funny? Or do you think there's no conversation at all? He does not notice the shirt, and then they just go out in public, and then there's this whole conversation about it.
I feel like he probably notices, right?
I feel like the latter is possible. Not probable, but possible.
I could see him absolutely not caring about anything that isn't football.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, yeah, I guess you are wearing a Falcons Super Bowl champion shirt. I didn't realize.
Like, are they together all the time?
Very funny.
Do they live together?
I think they were this weekend. Per TMZ, the couple bumped into Roger Goodell while they were out when she was wearing the shirt, and the two met for a double date with broadcaster Jim Gray and his wife.
I thought you were going to say a different thing. I don't know what I thought you were going to say.
I almost had you guess, but
did.
then I was like, he's not going to say Jim Gray.
I was not going to say Jim Gray. Joe Buck would have been the first person that came to my head.
Yeah, sure.
Wow. She's really good at being in the news, being seen.
And then finally, as a PSA, gentlemen, Valentine's Day is Friday.
People forget.
People do forget.
Don't
it's
forget,
unfortunate.
though.
Domino's has you covered, though. They've launched a pepperoni-inspired perfume to entice pizza lovers this Valentine's Day. It's said to have incredible notes of spice, pepper, with a woody, warm base. Everybody behave.
So just say it just smells like pepperoni.
That's right.
Smells like pepperoni. That's enough.
To mark the launch of Eau de Passion, that's the name of the perfume, Domino's launched steamy content featuring Married at First Sight UK star Luke DeBono.
Domino's released steamy content?
I'm just reading the article, Connor. On a quest to find passion, with Luke being shown spraying his chiseled physique with the bespoke pizza-shaped bottle. The former bodybuilder known for his body, well, he's a bodybuilder. It feels kind of redundant to say that. And memorable one-liners during his time on whatever show I just said he was on. Certainly put his bod to good use for the camera.
So we don't need to have fast casual, fast food, any really restaurants making content. We just don't need this.
Any content, let alone steamy content.
Certainly not steamy content.
Is that like a play on words that like, hey, pizza's steamy? Or
that's kind of what I thought when you said it.
Yeah.
Like I kind of thought, oh, I get what they're doing. Steamy, like pizza's hot, hot and ready, you know?
Yeah.
I guess that'd be Little Caesars.
It would. Those looking for love can enter a competition to get their hands on a bottle by heading to the Domino's website between today and the 17th.
Dan has a comment on Twitter or on the text line about the shirt that Bill Belichick's girlfriend was wearing.
Hi, Dan.
Pretty sure she was 7 when that Super Bowl happened. He told her to wear that shirt. I think she was 7. It was 9 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
She wasn't 7. Let's be very clear. She wasn't 7.
Yeah, I hope she wasn't 7.
She
10
wasn't
years ago.
7.
She is. Oh,
she's 24, isn't she?
That sounds right. Yeah, 24.
She was young. She wasn't 7. But funny.
That is okay. That's an angle I had not thought of. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is the odd news. We'll be back. We'll talk some hoops. And as Schaefer mentioned, Cam Jurgens. He's the face of Nebraska football in the NFL.
All the way from Beatrice, Nebraska.
He's got the torch passed to him. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Thanks for joining us, whether it's on AM radio, 1620 The Zone, which is the way I listen to the radio when I'm in the car.
But Connor, you're young. Young people don't listen to AM radio.
They sure do.
Oh, wow.
I'm not that young. Josh just claimed that I had dad energy.
You did. You really had this. All right, I'm going to fix the TV. Or about you.
Okay. I did not fix it, for the record. I just wanted to give it one more crack, turn it off, turn it back on, see what happens.
I want to be clear. I'm not making fun of you. That TV needs to be fixed. We need that TV. It helps us.
Do we need the TV?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's good to have the TV. By the way, where's the AP poll? Somebody show me the AP poll.
Have you seen the women's AP poll?
Yeah.
Blue
what does
Jays,
it say?
24. We expect something similar with the men's poll.
I was kind of hoping that they would stay unranked.
Oh, that's the women's poll again.
I want them to be unranked. I want Creighton to be unranked still.
You like having that little chip on your shoulder?
I do.
That little drive?
Like, I just think it would be really funny if they went all the way to March and they were like on the doorstep or win a share of the Big East or something like that, and they just weren't ranked the whole time because they lost to San Diego State and Nebraska in November. I think it'd be really funny. Or Georgetown, I guess. They'd be punishing for their loss to Georgetown. But that was a long, long time ago, Josh. Long, long time ago. We'll talk about Creighton in a second. Quickly, Friday on the show, this is the year of transparency.
Always is.
Friday on the show, we gave out a bunch of props, and Platt Cat always uses that as an excuse to go fade Connor Happer. Whatever he says, we're gonna take it across the river. We're gonna do the opposite.
Okay, yeah.
Platt Cat, wrong decision by you. Saquon Barkley, longest rush under 23.5 yards. Check.
Boy, they really had him locked down.
That's what I thought that they would do. And I thought generally the Chiefs defense is pretty dang good. I mean,
yeah, I guess you're right.
Once it was decided that, we have found our mismatch in this game. It is the Eagles defense against the Chiefs offense. The Chiefs defense was kind of just hanging on for dear life. I thought they did a really good job. They definitely did a really good job on Saquon. He really only threatened to get more than 5 yards 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
That was kind of it. They had him bottled up. So I had that. Jalen Hurts over 8.5 carries cleared easily. Patrick Mahomes to throw an interception cleared early. Jalen Hurts to throw an interception cleared early. Team to record first sack. Philly clears. Total punts over 6.5 covered maybe on the first punt of the second half.
Yeah, I think so.
Touchdown scores, Jalen Hurts. And my big winner, my big plus odds winner, Josh, was
Gloat.
Anytime touchdown score for the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Thank you, Cooper DeJean.
You said this on the show Friday.
I said this on the show, and that's why I'm saying it back to you right now. Bada bing, bada boom. I did also have Harrison Butker over 7.5 kicking points. That did not hit.
How many did he have? He had to be close, right?
No, they didn't make a field goal.
Yeah, he had 0 points.
Yeah. No, I mean he had 3.
Did he?
No, he had 2. Right? Well, did they have 3 touchdowns, Kansas City?
Yeah, and I don't think they
didn't kick extra points on him.
Let's get this right.
I don't remember. I mean, by the time Kansas City scored, I was kind of tuned out, to be honest with you.
2-point conversion failed. Mahomes to Watson for the conversion. Mahomes to Hopkins for the conversion.
Okay, he had 0 points. Okay, missed that one by a few.
Interesting. Fearless leader was in attendance.
And then, of course, the scores were I picked the game wrong. Kansas City I had as a 1.5 point favorite. I picked them to cover and the under. both of which the opposite hit.
God, this score bug is really bad, guys.
And the funny score that we put out there in December 17-13 did not happen in either direction, nor did the real version that I said on Friday on the show, Chiefs 26, Eagles 21.
Sure.
But that would have been a nice little return on those. But ultimately, it was a good night for me, Josh. Good night for me.
I had the first 2 drives to end in a punt. I was pretty pleased with that. Jalen Hurts' first touchdown score. That one paid me pretty handsomely. I had the Eagles winning the first quarter and the first half.
You got that.
I got that.
Yep.
Some other things hit. I did fine last
I
night.
I did the old school thing where I had up I opened up the app and I went and I read them all before the game and I looked at them all before the game and then I wrote them down on a piece on a legal pad.
I did screenshots
and I was using then I got to open up my phone and do a whole bunch of other stuff. So
okay.
I wrote them down and then I went through the game and I did checks or red pen X throughs when things did or didn't happen. It was awesome.
I like that.
It was super old school.
That's me at a basketball game and everyone makes fun of me.
That's right. Black Cat writes in, I took the punts. All right. So you actually listened to us when we had the punts over again. I think that's it. As long as we've been doing the show, we have told you guys to do the punts over in the Super Bowl, and it hits.
Every time.
It's hit 3 in a row.
I think this might be the latest it's hit since we've started telling people to do the...
Was that our 4th Super Bowl? That was our 4th.
Yeah.
That was our 4th Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So we're 4 for 4 on over punts in Super Bowls.
Boy, Saquon Barkley having a touchdown really would have helped me. I would have...
Many people took that, even with the juice at like 180 or
I would have
whatever
bought y'all a new TV.
No, you wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have, but there'd be more Cafe Bustelo in here. I'll tell you that right now.
You would get more pods of Cafe Bustelo, which only Matt drinks.
That's right.
By the way, we do now officially have the basketball AP poll. So we're setting the stage for Hell in a Cell round 2 tomorrow night.
Give it to me.
There will be a ranked team in the matchup, but just one.
Oh my dear God! What are you about to say?
What?
I don't know what you're saying.
UConn is unranked.
Oh!
UConn is unranked.
Imagine being unranked.
Creighton moves into the AP poll at number 24. Just 3 spots ahead of Connecticut, for the record.
Men's, women's handshake meme ranked 24th.
Look at that. Auburn's still the number 1 team in the country. How about
they lost?
How about this top 5? Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Duke, Tennessee. You notice a certain flavor in there, Josh?
Yeah.
There is some conversation as to if the SEC is going to have 3 out of the 4 1 seeds, or potentially all 4 of the 1 seeds.
Oh, wow.
Could be funny. But yeah, they got some options. That's for sure.
Look, how come Lenardi doesn't do a bracketology on Monday morning?
Oh, he doesn't?
I think this guy's getting lazy.
Did he do one on Sunday night?
No. Updated the 7th.
Oh, that's got to be coming out this afternoon, right? I mean, we're getting close to Lenardi every day territory.
I'd like to have it right now.
Why do you want to look at Lenardi?
I want to know who his 1 seeds are.
There's 500 other brackets out there.
Bracket matrix. Here we go.
Check out the bracket matrix.
It's so small. I can't.
What do you mean it's so small?
The type, the font, it's so small.
The 4 bracket matrix 1 seeds at the moment are Auburn, Duke, Alabama, and Tennessee.
Yeah, I think Duke's going to prevent us from going 4 for 4 unless
they're in the Garbo ACC.
Yeah.
Florida's right up there. Don't think Texas A&M will probably be able to reach 1 seed status, but they're in the top 16 conversation. I just think there's people on Twitter who are calling what Creighton's doing right now Project 6 seed.
I've seen this. I've heard about this.
So what happens if Creighton continues on this run that they're on right now? We need to stop and look around for a second. This is nuts. It was another game where I got done with it and I'm like, how are they still doing this? How do they keep doing this? At a certain point, you're just good, right? And it's not just that you're hot or that you've like, I'm not saying that they're the Chiefs, but the comp there is that they have figured out ways to win. And the other comp is that they have one of, if not the best players in the country. And he seems to be inevitable. Ryan Kalkbrenner. Not the guy who's telling people to go to sleep and Steven, but he's pretty good too. They can win any type of game, as evidenced by the fact that they gave up 18 offensive rebounds on Saturday and still beat a top 10 team, top 11 team in the country.
What the hell was that?
There was one possession where they must have had 6 of them.
Yeah, I was listening on the radio and I'm like, where's the tree man?
John's going to die.
Grab the ball, tree man. I don't, maybe they lured him out from outside the post. Like, I didn't know where he was on these.
So hear me out here. Let's stop and look around.
Okay.
They finish with the massive right hook. They have a finishing punch to them. It's clearly in the bag. And it wasn't just Steven and Kalkbrenner.
Oh, it was Jemiah Neal.
Jemiah Neal, who has some killer to him, right? He's a bad man, as they're saying.
I loved what he said after the game. Like, hey, you can learn a lot sitting on the bench, like what you need to do and like things that you can't see on the court.
The progression that guy has made and the jump that he has made to be a part of this system and this team will never be appreciated enough. I mean, he is doing second year stuff. I mean, I don't think he's going to get a second year probably at Creighton. I don't know what that looks like. I mean, he's played his entire eligibility at this point, after this season. But like, he's the type of guy, and I said this several weeks ago, that you just dream about. If he comes back for a second year, he'd be a dominant force. Look at what Stephen Ashworth is doing this year. They're getting everything out of Stephen Ashworth. Stephen Ashworth shouldn't be having that much of a weight on his shoulders every single game, but he handles it well, and he's got Ryan Kalkbrenner on his side. So Ashworth and Kalkbrenner were Ashworth and Kalkbrenner. Neal hit some big shots late. Jason Green made Cam Jones work for it. And so you had to, you really need to have one or two guys from the role player category be impactful on a nightly basis. That seems like Creighton's formula. And it was on Saturday. So once again, take a look around. They can win any type of game. They've identified the killers. They have the strong finishing right hook. They have the best player in the country. They have
Flag?
They don't have him, but the other guy, the tree man, as you mentioned. One of, if not the best players in the country. They have one of, if not the best coaches in the country. So you tell me, why is this team so much worse than either of the last two? What's so different about them?
Because they've lost pieces.
They're doing the same things, though. They're doing the same things. And yes, they don't have Trey Alexander and Baylor Shireman, but they're doing the same things. In fact, they're doing things that no other team in Creighton history has done.
Imagine if they had Pop Isaacs.
Winning 9 games in a row in the conference. No other Big East team has done it. Not Doug's team, not Baylor and Trey's, not Marcus Zagorowski's, not Tyshawn Alexander's, not Marcus Foster's and Justin Patton's. None of them. None of them. This one. And there's some magic that goes into it. Yes, they were lucky to win at Villanova because they banked in a 3 from the corner at the end of the game. And
don't apologize for wins.
And yes, the rest of the conference is maybe not as complete as it used to be, right? There's more than one teams have joined DePaul at the bottom of the league, I think at this moment, right? Seton Hall's pretty rough. DePaul's pretty rough.
Just goes to show you Big East is terrible, Connor.
Butler's pretty rough. Not that you can't lose to any of those teams, but so there's context that goes into this. But what makes them so much worse than what makes them ineligible? I mean, we had the ceiling conversation last week. What makes them not have the ceiling that you think? If they're checking all those boxes, right? They get good to great point guard play. They have one of the best players in the country. They have one of the best coaches in the country. They have killers. They win games in different ways. Like, what are they? Tell me what they're missing. Tell me what they're missing. Because if you crack the code to, all right, well, if they turn off the Kalkbrenner faucet, then what are they going to do? Well, they clearly figured out the answer to the question, right? The answer is you can't turn it off anymore. You physically can't turn off the Kalkbrenner faucet anymore because the other players have gotten involved in what they're doing. Ashworth is carrying some of the load, and they've found creative ways to get him the basketball. And he's been more demanding of the basketball. He's been more starish this year. Kalkbrenner has. So, like, I don't know, man. They went to the Elite Eight a couple of years ago. They went to the Sweet 16 again last year. And I know they had better players and whatever, but they look the same to me.
I mean,
I'm just trying to think about this, and you know, I don't know.
So
they got something going on right now.
I think what you're saying is right.
They are officially in like the special category.
But man, I just remember what it looked like against Nebraska and A&M and
well, the Elite Eight team had their problems, Josh. I don't know if you remember that.
That's true. I do remember Mono.
Yeah, Mono Gate.
But I mean, we'll see what happens this week. This is the tough week. UConn St. John's.
This is the tough week.
This is the tough. Is it not?
I mean, this is a tough week.
Or was at Providence Marquette at home tougher?
No, that's not tougher.
Okay.
One of the like. It's like, oh man, they got this big stretch coming up in front of them. Here we go. You know, when did we start this conversation? After Xavier or before Xavier? If they win X amount of these next 5 or 6 games, what happens to them? What reason do I have to believe that they're not going to give themselves a chance in either of the next 2 games? It's going to be a madhouse tomorrow night
on CBS Sports Network.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay.
And they, you know, I don't love their chances to win at the Garden on Sunday, but they already won one with St. John's this year. As Rick Pitino would say, how the bleep do we lose that one game? You know, or I guess he would also say this:
I want to kill myself, jump in the cold, and die of frostbite.
Oh, that's right. The dog show's on FS1 tomorrow. So FS1 not an option.
The Westminster Kennel Club.
Yeah.
Dear God. Dear God. They're 18-6. They've won 9 games in a row. They're 11-2 in the Big East. They're a game out of first place. You know? And once again, they have one of the best players in the country, one of the best coaches in the country, and they check all the boxes in late game situations and stuff like that. They've beaten the only team in conference that is for everybody else unbeatable. And they have the best record in the round robin against against the other 3 in the top 4. They're 6-1 against those teams, Josh.
It's really good.
Yeah. So I don't know. You tell me. All I'll say is doubt them at your own peril. Doubt them at your own peril.
I'm not doubting them. I want to be clear about that. I just can't explain what's happening.
I'm trying to explain it.
I know.
I'm trying to.
They found a little spark plug in Jemiah Neal. Ashworth and Kalkbrenner are playing great basketball right now.
Mm-hmm. But at what point do we just say, oh, they're really good?
Right.
Because this has been the theme all throughout Kalkbrenner's career. It's like, oh, man, he's playing really good right now, but why can't we just call him good?
He's just tall.
Why can't we just call him what he is, which is one of the most, I mean, maybe the second most impactful player in Creighton basketball history. And not just that, one of the best players in the he's the front in I guess I don't know who the front runner would be, but he is
a front runner.
He's in the conversation for Big East Player of the Year. He's going to absolutely win Big East Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know.
Might have to recalibrate my opinion.
It ain't just magic fairy dust. That's all I'm gonna say.
What if they win on Saturday?
What if they win each of the next two this week?
Yeah, I guess that's important as well.
It sounds like you'll be joining me in the watch out club.
I mean, yeah, I'd have to. Now, are all bets off, or do they need to go? Do they need to go 2-0 this week?
All bets are already off.
Okay.
All bets are already off. They've already exceeded what I thought they were capable of. They are way better than the sum of their parts. But those are the type of teams that are dangerous generally. Now, if you want to get it down to tournament success, if we're just talking tournament success, 1-game sample sizes are really tough. Creighton is a great example of a place that has had a really, really good team with a truly great player and then ran into a buzzsaw and played like crap one game in the NCAA tournament and had to go home. You know, that's always going to be on the table. But we know what the ceiling was for that team. Mm-hmm. It was to go really, really deep in the NCAA tournament. Why is this one different?
Andy Katz.
Andy.
Let me take you to Andy's desk here.
Andy.
Top 10 games of the week. Number 6, Creighton at St. John's. And in the interest of being fair and balanced, number 10, Maryland at Nebraska.
Where's Creighton UConn?
Not on there.
They don't care about Hell in a Cell over there?
I guess.
Hell in a Cell.
Thought we were doing Hell in a Cell, guys.
Omaha writes in on YouTube.
Hi, Omaha.
Why is Josh being a downer? Why is Josh being a downer?
See,
that's a great question, Omaha.
I know that's how it comes off, but I'm not ready to get hurt again.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
Yes, it is.
Dive into that pool head first, baby. Come on.
What could go wrong?
You got to be willing. You got to be willing to do it. We think the 2014 team was like 2013, 2014, Doug's last team. You know? I think we're like, well, I'm ready to be hurt. Well, you know, and then what about their pedigree would make you believe that they're not going to have NCAA tournament success?
Right.
That thing is off their back a long time ago.
Veteran leadership, good guard play.
Yeah. Just saying. Doubt them at your own peril.
I saw this team when Jemiah Neal was on the bench.
Uh-huh. Did you not like it that much?
Didn't love it.
All right. Well, don't go on the bench then.
Don't get in foul trouble against Cam Jones.
Luckily, you don't have to play them again.
Probably.
Jason writes in.
Hi, Jason.
The coaches pre-scouts are incredible. They know the league inside and out. They know exactly what teams are trying to do for them, do against them. And I can tell you firsthand that they are incredibly detailed in the things that they talk about in the pregame. Yes. 100%.
Well, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that this team is better than they were in December. I mean, that's a staple of a Greg McDermott coach basketball.
But how much better can they be? How much better are they, or how much more credit are we going to give them as they get, because they deserve a lot more credit than they're getting right now.
Definitely. The national pundits seem to love Kalkbrenner, so I imagine they'd be one of those. Don't be afraid to move him over in your brackets.
I feel like right now the conversation with them is like the thing that I saw a lot of after they beat Marquette this weekend was, wow, you gotta give a lot of credit to Greg McDermott for what he's doing right now, and that has this tone of, I don't really think they're good, but they're winning these games. So when's it gonna flip to they're forced to be reckoned with? You better watch out. Is it going to take? Will that never happen? Will that not happen with this team? Will that happen at the end of this week? I don't know. Just some stuff to chew on. With Creighton basketball right now, who is yet again doing their thing. Tomorrow night is Hell in a Cell.
They didn't blink Saturday. Like that big lead of theirs got a race like that. And they just, no, we're gonna do our thing.
And then the heavy knockout punch. I'm telling you, Jemiah Neal is about that life. He don't care.
It was fun to listen to on the radio.
I bet. I did see the video that somebody tweeted at Chicken Nick of John.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that during the game, obviously.
I heard it and I knew. I'm like, he's standing right now. He's absolutely standing, trying to be loud enough to get the ref's attention to no avail.
He's swinging the hand.
The Chicken Nick listeners, they did not appreciate that.
Oh man, they can get over it.
They can't.
All right,
they got a good basketball team too.
Oh, are they Nebraska ball pilled the listeners of the podcast?
Definitely.
All right, well, we can talk about them when we return. They're rolling. They showed a knockout punch on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. That was good. We have plenty more to come in the Connor Happer Show in 1620 The Zone.
Hell in a Cell.
Joshua ZU is making the joke about how I was married to the game.
I do think I was the first person to say that on Saturday.
This is a good one. This is a good one. I love love. It's love week. Friday's Valentine's Day. Please don't forget.
Yeah. Now, I have literally zero idea of what happened.
Oh, really?
I just saw the tweet from Jacob that said Connor was at a
Connor Happer facilitated an engagement.
Yes.
That's right. That's all you need to know, basically.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, we set it up as the half court shot, the let it fly shootout, right? The now oft talked about let it fly shootout.
Boy, they're good at getting that run.
I guess so. Yeah.
There, let it fly.
And we randomly chose a young lady, and then she made, I think she made the layup and then didn't quite make the free throw. It was like, oh, dang it. Really?
Okay.
Really sorry. So I gathered it up. I said, come on in here. And you didn't win the $13,000 today, but we do have a consolation prize for you. And she was like, oh yeah, sweet. Consolation prize. Nice. Okay. I guess, it's probably what, $50 gift card to the sports bar. And then I was like, well, why don't you turn around? And the sea parted, and waiting for her at half court was her boyfriend. And at which point he got down on a knee and asked to marry her. It doesn't happen without Connor Happer. Once again, Josh, we're here for you guys.
Several follow-up questions.
Mike says Connor Cupid handshake meme.
Absolutely. Were bets taken on a yes or a no amongst the people wearing headsets
I think we
inside the arena?
I think that we were pretty sure that she was going to say yes.
You better know the answer.
I mean, we didn't.
If you're going to do that,
we didn't ask because it came up from Cole, who was the guy, and we didn't ask him like, hey, just so we know, is she going to say yes? Like, we just figured if he's proposing to her, he's probably pretty sure what the answer is going to be. But as I could speak to from experience, it doesn't make you any less nervous. And I can't imagine that it makes you any less nervous when you're about to try to pull off this thing that not everybody else knows about, but the people around you know about, but she does not, in front of 18,000 people at a basketball game. And so I think my man was feeling it a little bit as we walked out onto the floor and as we prepared for the half court contest. But got the job done.
Good.
No credit to me, except for, of course, facilitating the entire thing.
So love won.
Love won
Saturday.
Love won, and hate will win tomorrow.
Yeah.
Screw you, Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
Although I do love dollar beers. I'll tell you that much.
I love dollar beers and yelling at people with the last name Hurley.
It's great.
All of them. Give me all of them. Line them up.
Respectfully, of course.
No.
Why not? You don't want to be respectful?
I don't respect that clown.
He's doing a bit. Just let him do it. Just let him do his bit.
I'm doing a bit
like
a lot of the time as well, and people are go, "You're an idiot."
So, I was talking about this with somebody on Saturday. Shaka is not doing a bit.
Right.
So when Shaka jumped 8 feet into the air 2 years ago or last year or whatever. Yeah, I think it was last year, right? When they won here. I don't think that probably sat well with anyone, right? It was just like, he's not doing a bit. But when Dan Hurley does it and you yell at Dan Hurley and he's won, and then he comes in and he says the things that he says, and then he's like, hey, I'm the best coach in the country and all of these things. And then he walks out of the tunnel last year in Omaha and people start yelling at him, and then he barks back, and then he goes back home and he's like, I can't believe the disrespect. It's just crazy to me that something like that would happen. That is him stirring the pot artificially, purposefully. He's doing that on purpose. Shaka's not.
Right.
Shaka's not. That's who Shaka is. Shaka's out on the court before the game with his AirPods in, and he's preparing to play in the basketball game. He's like, I need to be mentally and physically ready to do my job today. And so he's got whatever he's listening to in the earbuds before the game.
Mhm.
He's dapping people up. He's just getting out there and mixing it up with people, right? Like he thinks he's in the game.
Dan
Hurley knows what he's doing.
Is standing at center court asking why the sweat hogs in the audience don't love him.
Yes.
Why don't you white trash people love me?
So funny.
He's a wrestling heel.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
He's doing it on purpose.
But a wrestling heel can be so good that it works.
But what's worse though? Like, who do you actually feel more hatred toward?
Ooh.
Do you feel more hatred toward the wrestling heel or the guy who literally can't help himself because he is just that? Mitch and I were talking about this morning and Shaka came up. He wrote a story that's out about
Shaka wrote a story?
No, Mitch did.
Oh.
About Mike Eckler. And guess who we talked to for this story? Tony Vitello.
Oh.
Tony Vitello is one of those people that can't help it.
Mhm.
He is not doing a bit. He thinks he is playing in the game, and his energy and his emotion is there on his sleeve. That's Shaka, right? I don't know what the comp to Dan Hurley is, but man, he has done his job really, 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 really well. So who do you hate more? Who do you feel more emotion toward? I tell you what, I want to beat Shaka more than I want to beat Dan Hurley.
I feel something when I see Dan Hurley, though.
Now I want to
feel it.
But I'm to the point with Creighton. Like I want Creighton to beat Dan Hurley because they don't lose to Dan Hurley.
Mm-hmm.
They don't lose to. They have a reputation to uphold this at this point.
That's
like
true.
of the team who doesn't really lose to UConn all that often.
He's absolutely going to rally those troops, so to speak, tomorrow. Like, you're not ranked. They don't like you. They don't respect you. You're the back-to-back national champions, and they don't respect you. That's my Dan Hurley. It's not very good.
It's not great, but I get what you were going for there. Greg in Myrtle Beach writes in.
Hi, Greg. Welcome back.
Did Cupid Happer provide the best consolation prize for the groom, an ironclad prenup? No.
What were they? Just a bunch of college kids?
No, she was a former member of the Creighton dance team.
Oh, hello.
And they're a few years out of college, probably.
Did she know the girl who got sawed in half at the pink outfit?
Maybe, yeah. When we went back, the dance team was in hysterics. They were crying their eyes out.
Oh, great. I assume
they were like overcome with emotion.
Okay.
I was like, this is what I want to see.
This is what the Super Bowl anthem couldn't provide.
Exactly. I want to tug at your heartstrings. O-Trips right said, I hate Hurley. I genuinely despise Shaka.
Oh, really?
I think it's yeah.
I still think of, and this is probably a me problem. I still think of Shaka as that lovable little scamp from VCU.
It's like you tap him on top of the head. He's like, oh, you're cute.
I would absolutely tussle his hair.
Now that's disrespectful. That is some disrespect, Josh.
Sorry, it just.
Okay, so while we're on Big East stuff, real quick, I went around at the game and I asked I asked some people who I wanted their opinions. I wanted them to answer this question, and now I want you to, if you're listening to this, and I want you to, Josh, as well. Okay. I don't think there is a right answer to this.
Okay.
For the record, I think you could say whatever is on your mind and whatever your gut says. When each of the top 4 teams in the Big East are at their best, St. John's, Creighton, Marquette, and UConn, who's the best team in the Big East? If they're all at their best,
wow,
who's the best team?
Probably my fault for having not watched St. John's outside of the Creighton games. I'm going to say Marquette.
So you can make an argument for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely make the case for Marquette. They have 3 very, very good players. I mean, not just 3, but like their 3 are really, really good. So St. John's is the best record right now, and they've checked all the boxes. They didn't win in Omaha. They checked all the boxes. They are, out of the 4, most limited offensively when they are at their best, but they have the highest ceiling defensively when they're at their best. So how does that equal out? I don't know. Because when they want to attack you and they're going to be in attack mode on Sunday, that's a scary monster to play against. And then they have shot makers too, right? It's almost like I would compare them like Nebraska is the light version of them, right? Nebraska has a couple guys that can really get buckets, like Bryce Williams, he can go get his, and Gary, can do some things and mix some things up. But like when they have that edge to them on defense, that's when they could turn you off, right? But St. John's just does that. They do that at a little bit higher level. So Creighton, they know exactly what they are defensively. They're greater than the sum of their parts. They have the tree man inside who you can't score on. Right? Just forget about it. I find it so funny when every Big East guard runs into the lane thinking that they're going to do something and then immediately decides to start doing spinny dribbles around the basket, and they're like, okay, never mind. I'm going to take this back out.
I'm going to drive on him. He's going to get called for a foul.
He's not going to jump.
I'm going to go to the floor.
It's not. Try your pump fakes all you want. You're just going to get stuck there. He's not going anywhere. He is planted in the ground. All right. So their defensive ceiling is what that is. And then they have a pretty high offensive ceiling. If they have a game like they had against Kansas, Pop's gone, but like they get hot from 3, they make 13, 14 threes. Who's beating them? Right? Marquette can get really hot. UConn can get really hot, and they have the energy on defense as well. You can make a case from all of them. I'm trying not to be I'm not sure.
You're going to say it.
The team that I would make an argument for that's not Creighton is Connecticut, is UConn.
Now, what are we defining as best?
Like when they are at the top of their game, when everything is clicking for them.
Who do I think is going to advance furthest in the NCAA tournament?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about versus other.
Okay.
Team versus team. Like UConn was a nuclear weapon in the first half, in like the first 10 or so minutes of the St. John's game last Friday night. I mean, in that building, making threes and then putting absolute, tightening up, ratcheting up pressure on St. John's. I mean, they had them shut off. And then St. John's just completely flipped the script on them. And so they survived that. But like Hurley's trying to find if they can get those 10 minutes to last an entire game, which I'm skeptical that they can. But man, they have a pretty high ceiling on them still. Don't. That's another team that you can discount at your own peril. I know they're out of the top 25 right now. That probably is not the worst thing in the world for them either, and for that coach.
Trips in the YouTube chat. He's gone from Twitter to the YouTube chat.
Thank you.
Creighton is the most balanced overall. St. John's can suffocate you. Marquette, similar, but has more shooters. UConn doesn't have that center option this year to be the best.
Yeah. But they can fill it up from 3 if they're hot.
Fill it up.
Yeah. So that was a question that I was asking people, and I never got a definitive answer. So I wanted to ask you all on the show today. All right. When we come back, I would like to talk about Nebraska basketball, who also had the finishing touch.
Big dubs
on Sunday afternoon. Back after this, before we talk to Sam on 1620 The Zone. Nebraska ball has now ripped off 4 in a row. What will Josh have to say to disparage them today?
Whoa.
Are they good or are they good?
That's the same word.
No, they sound different, Josh.
Look, people pronounce words different. I don't know what the big deal
4
is.
wins in a row. 4 wins in a row.
I played the wrong one.
That's what Nebraska ball is to you?
Yeah, they won 4 straight.
They're 16-8.
They beat Ohio State and the referees.
What's the target number, Josh? No. Hey, by the way, my thing on the refs from the first half of the game, there was just way too many fouls called in general. I didn't think it was slanted one way or the other. I just thought, like, why do these need to be fouls? It was ridiculous. I mean, for all of the Big Ten games that feel like backyard, like brawls, like so much contact, so much physicality. For whatever reason, when we get to the rim, the whistle is just assumed, and I hate that. There's a lot of assumed whistles out there. But anyway, coming fresh off of losing 6 in a row, Nebraska has now won 4 in a row. They beat Illinois. They won at Oregon. They won at Washington. And they beat Ohio State on Super Bowl Sunday. They now get Maryland on Thursday. They have a chance to get directly back to 500 in the league, which is a place where they were at last, going into their game against Purdue. They lost to Iowa to fall to 2-2. And now they have a chance to get back to it at 7-7. And they were once 2-7 in the league. I mean, Josh, they're back to square one. I mean, like, they have erased the 6-game losing streak. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. They're back to exactly where they were before that. I mean, you look at the bracket stuff and the net stuff and the Ken Palm stuff, and it's all like right where they were right after they beat UCLA going into that Iowa game. They have erased the 6-game losing streak. It's gone. And a couple road wins will do that for you. A couple wins against top 25 teams will do that for you. But to have it be done now instead of like the latter portion of February where you had to really sweat it out for several weeks and grind your way back to that point, to just get it all in one shot, basically. I mean, that is really impressive what they have come back from. And it's all because, well, it's for a variety of different reasons. I think, they're still working on that consistent, energy and effort on the defensive end. But I think the difference for them has been what they've been able to do on offense, and it's mostly because of Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary, who are their guys, mostly Bryce Williams, if we're being honest with you. He's been absolutely fantastic lately. Once again, coming off of 4 straight games now, and I was a little critical of him still after the Illinois game, even though he made the shots in overtime to get him there, but it wasn't his most efficient night. You don't need him to be efficient, but I just thought he took some bad shots in that game. You still want to take good shots. But the Illinois game, he had 27. The Oregon game, he had 28. He was really, really good in that game, even though he, was 2 of 8 from 3. 23 in the Washington game, made some shots to pull him back into that one at the start of the second half, and then was really good yesterday. Maybe his best out of the bunch yesterday, I thought, with 24 and, got to the bucket seemingly at will. And, supplemented with a 3. Got to the free throw line 5 times and got 10 rebounds and had 4 assists, just 2 turnovers. I thought yesterday was the best he's been in a while. And so that trends really well. 4 straight games, by the way, for Bryce Williams, where he is the Ken Palm MVP. So they do a game MVP. Like Kalkbrenner's on a run of like 15 in a row or something like that. Well, I suppose I should check it before I actually say that. But Kalkbrenner right now is actually, I might be right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each of Creighton's last 10 wins, he's been the MVP.
Okay.
The Ken Palm MVP. And Bryce Williams is in a really, really good spot right now for Nebraska basketball, each of their last 4 wins. He is the MVP of the game, and that's what he needs to be. I think they had to have a conversation with him after the soul searching week, and it was like, hey, Bryce, I'd rather you, what Schaefer said earlier, I'd rather have you take these shots at a higher volume. I know you're going to have to give up some efficiency here. The thing that we loved about him early in the season when Nebraska was winning was the efficiency at which he was scoring his volume with. You know, he had a couple like 30-point games that were, 70, 80% shooting. He was so good. Bryce, I need you to have the ball in your hands. I need you to demand the basketball in your hands, and you're going to lose some of that efficiency, but I want you shooting the shot rather than Raleigh Wooster, even though he hit a big 3, on yesterday on Sunday. But it's purposeful for them right now. So I think they kind of figured out their hierarchy on offense and where they want the ball to go and what time and who needs to take over and who needs to play what role offensively. And then for defensively with them, it just is always going to be about how hard are you willing to play. And it feels like they're in a really good spot right now. They're in a great zone. They're playing really good basketball. But for them, they always have to have that energy and effort on defense. And if they slip a little in the offensive like team stuff, for Bryce Williams to be able to be shooting, the majority of their shots, I'm fine with that because he needs to be.
Over the last 4 games, they have gone from this team might not make the Big Ten tournament to
they're pretty solidly in the NCAA tournament at the moment. Yeah. Now these are all snapshots in time.
Right.
Keep that in mind. You can still, clearly if Nebraska's capable of losing 6 in a row, they have 7 regular season games. They can't lose them all, right? But if they play like they have over the last 4, they've beaten 3 pretty solid to really good teams over the last 4, and then they won their quote unquote easiest game on the road in a sleepy environment at 9:30 body time, right? Like all of that stuff is individually impressive. So if they stay on that pace, I mean, they're going to find their way to 20 wins. And
definitely.
You're going to be 500 in the Big Ten, which is exactly where they're projected right now, according to our friends from KenPom.com.
Little Ken Pom thing.
20-11, 10-10 in the league. That's middle of the pack of the Big Ten. That's an NCAA tournament team. With the wins that they have right now, I mean,
yeah. And they got a chance to beat a 5th-ranked team later this week. They've played themselves from not in the Big Ten tournament at all to the Peacock play-in opening day to now they're playing on day 2. Is
that what the standings are showing?
If the season ended today, obviously they would be the 8th seed in the Big Ten tournament.
Wow.
One of these brackets on the bracket matrix has Nebraska as an 8 seed in the tournament, the big tournament, period. Not the Big Ten tournament, the NCAA tournament. So quite a swing for Nebraska ball.
Question from Mike on YouTube.
Hi, Mike.
Does this team lose something without Burke? Yeah, they lose a bunch of ill-advised shots and lack of hustle.
Better without Burke, Connor
says. What's funny? He had his he really did. He had his best game yesterday. And then he got hurt at the end. So, like, he is obviously capable of being a player for them, like an impactful player, but it's just not there enough. It's not there enough. So, like, if they whittle that down a little bit. Now, the problem is that the downside is you need bodies because chances are Nebraska's found themselves in a lot of foul trouble, like individual foul trouble. So you kind of need to have them out there. Like if, Mia can get you a couple points. I want to see his minutes go back up because I think he's pretty good on the defensive end for him as a rim protector. Morgan can be good on offense. Like they're going to have to piece it together, but as long as you got Williams and then the energy on defense, like those are the key tenets for Nebraska basketball. And they've had them for the last 4. No doubt. By the way, we got a tweet I got a text here. Shocked that nobody's talking about this. Creighton, Nebraska 7-10 game is staring us right in the face. Creighton and Nebraska playing in the NCAA tournament is my worst nightmare.
That'd be horrible.
It'd be horrendous. It'd be a bad time.
Also, don't we try and not
play once in the regular season in November and then let us talk about it for the rest of the season, regardless of what they do. You know, like the teams are completely different now.
Mhm.
That's great. It was a snapshot of a moment in time. I do not want them to play in the NCAA tournament because of the bragging rights that it would cause for the rest of eternity.
The discourse.
For either team.
The discourse
For either team.
would be atrocious.
It would just get so annoying because let's say Creighton is the 7th seed and they win and they're like, well, you still can't win an NCAA tournament team and we beat you in the NCAA tournament and we erased the loss this year. How does that feel? That's where all conversations would go to. They would start and end with whatever the result of that game is. And that's a 1-game sample size in a basketball for a basketball team. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthily like definitive. That's what it is. It's too definitive for me.
It would be great for the station, bad for everything else. Right?
I don't know. Probably.
I don't even know that it's good for the station.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be some odd March excitement, but
well, most Nebraska fans would be like, I can't listen to the J-Sker station.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe it'd be horrible for us.
yeah.
All right, we'll come back. Sam McKewon is up on the other side on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Joined now on the hotline by our good friend Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Hi, Sam.
Hey, what's going on?
Sam, I just got the Big Ten baseball TV schedule here. So 20, they're going to do 20. There will be 25 Big Ten baseball games on television, either BTN or FS1, before the Big Ten baseball tournament, at which point all of the rest of them are on TV. It still feels light, if you're asking me.
Yeah, I would say that the Big Ten doesn't really go all in on baseball until the Big Ten basketball season is over, and that's usually a month in. And then they're going to, baseball's going to have to share that spotlight with softball, which is fine. Big Ten softball is better than Big Ten baseball.
That's true.
And then, you're sharing the spotlight with a few other things too. So you get track and field and just programming but they don't, obviously BTN doesn't spend as much money. Basketball is the sport of the Big Ten. As good as football is becoming, basketball is still, you can tell, that's the sport that animates BTN and the Big Ten. They love the sport. I love it too. I watch a BTN game in basketball, men's or women. It's high quality stuff, and everybody, you kind of know all the people, and so they put a lot of energy into that, and then they've put a lot of energy into volleyball too. They're an incredible volleyball network. I think they're still working on getting up to speed in baseball and softball. That's probably the two sports where you're like, you kind of wish they showed a little bit more of it, but they probably have internal metrics that tell them that they're doing the right amount. And of course, then once the Big Ten tournament comes around, well, they're just doing everything, and they do all of that.
Okay, so I'll bounce this thought off of you then, because you just said it. Like, basketball seems like the sport that is it feels natural for the conference to embrace it.
Right.
And I think I agree with that. And I'm thinking about football and the conference's relationship with football. And for whatever, it feels unnatural in a way for the conference to be as maybe big, or maybe I don't know what the right word is, as I guess as big as it is. I think they feel like they want to do things kind of quietly, but maybe they feel like they have to not, because of they're standing in the Big Ten conference's relationship to football and how they feel about it. That is an interesting thought.
Yeah, the two teams that have dominated Big Ten football for so long are Ohio State and Michigan, and so as far as those two teams are concerned, it's obviously the coverage is robust and all those things. I think that the league has maybe struggled to expand beyond that. Now, obviously, they have to now. With Oregon and Penn State and USC, and it's just going to take time to get their feet wet there. Big Ten basketball, even though Indiana is probably the program, when you say Big Ten basketball, you think Indiana probably first. There have been so many teams in this league that have gone to the Final Four over the last 40 years. And there are, seriously, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan State, Indiana, Purdue. I'm probably forgetting Illinois. That I just rattled off a bunch right there. And of course, the newcomers, all but I think Washington has been to the Final Four in the last 40 years. And, Maryland, and it's just a basketball league. And it's, and of course, with Caitlin last year doing what she did for Iowa, it was even more so. Like, it was just, that's what it became. And then Big Ten volleyball is basically the best league of any sport other than maybe Big Ten wrestling. And they really do a good job with wrestling too. But you can tell some of that's just tradition. It's like, well, Big Ten has been great wrestling for 60 years. So it matters to them. You can just tell that there's still some of that old school, whatever. Whereas in the SEC, and this is more similar to Nebraska, it is. It's football and it's baseball.
Baseball.
And I've always said Nebraska's a baseball state, Connor, and not just because of the College World Series. Like, it's sort of an agricultural state. It's a farm state. Incredible players have come from this state. You know, the old barnstorming tours, like baseball's just, it's the thing that you listen to in the summer. Like Nebraska's a baseball state, and the SEC is probably, those are the top two sports down there. And Nebraska feels that way. I think about that. Not to knock basketball, because basketball, look at the PBA crowds, but I think that's been part of it. I think people would love to see more baseball on TV. I like listening to the game on the radio. I've always been a baseball on the radio kind of person. And so, you know, I'll be doing stuff and I'll just listen that way. And I've always enjoyed that, whether it's the Royals with Denny Matthews or it's Nebraska with Greg Sharp, and it'll be Ben McLaughlin this year, but or at least early on. And, you know, that's what I've always enjoyed. But other people really love watching the game too. And that includes family members I have.
What'd you think of the game last night? From whatever angle, I'm curious. The first thing you think of when you think of what we watched in the Super Bowl last night.
Yeah, I think Kansas City just got shoved around along the line of scrimmage, and when that happens, you're asking your quarterback to do more than he probably should, and he tried to do more than he should have. You know, he made, you know, one massive mistake with the run and the interception. That was a bad play. And then on the other one, he kind of got baited. And one of the things, if you'd watched the Chiefs all year, you saw that they were kind of a throw the ball over the middle, you know, quick throws over here, quick throws over here. They weren't jacking it up, even though they had Worthy. It wasn't the Tyreek era Chiefs.
No.
You know, Tyreek Hill era Chiefs. It wasn't that. And Patrick may need to find some of that again. I'm calling him like I know him. Mahomes needs to maybe find, and maybe the Chiefs need to go out and get another Worthy. I don't know. They need to find a way to get the ball downfield. And this is just me talking out loud. I think Kelsey needs to really decide whether he wants to keep doing it or not, because he takes up a nice chunk of salary, and at this point, he's kind of like an H-back. Like, he's not a fast enough player to stretch the field. He's catching the ball at 9 yards and turning around and getting 5 more yards, but he's no longer the best tight end in the NFL. There's probably about 7 or 8 guys, actually, that are better than he is. And the Chiefs could probably use the money that his contract would free up to go get some more players. I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't know what he's going to do, because he's obviously been a huge reason why they've had this success. But as I've been watching, I watched him last night. I'm like, you're just not the guy you used to be, but you cost money. So, like, how do you figure that out? And so that's something they're going to have. That's a bridge they'll have to cross. Obviously, the Eagles played dominant defense, and they were good enough on offense. They weren't great, but they were good enough.
Yep. Also, so when Patrick Mahomes is this our lives now? When Patrick Mahomes, if and when Patrick Mahomes plays bad, people use it to talk about Dylan Raiola now, because that definitely happened during the game last night.
I think here pretty soon he will come to this conclusion on his own. Dylan's going to come to this conclusion on his own. Of like, I'm Dylan Raiola. I'm the first Dylan Raiola. I'm me. And like, I think he'll come to this conclusion on his own of like, you've got all the skill set all your own. You're not quite like Mahomes. You're sort of, it's good to have a hero and a mentor, but he's his own guy. And I think as that goes on, then it'll turn less into, you know, Patrick Mahomes 2, and it'll become Dylan Raiola the first, you know, and I think he's going to grow into that this year. You know, his freshman year was very exciting, and I'm sure he loved it. As this becomes more his team, and I wrote about this, this becomes more his team, he is going to think probably less about, okay, what is this guy over here, you know, in the NFL doing, and more about, I need to get to the NFL, and part of how you get there as a quarterback in college is you win games. Like, that's a big part of it. Like, winning quarterbacks get more opportunities in the NFL draft. They get more teams to look at them. So, like, If Dylan wants to go where Mahomes is gone, I know Mahomes is the exception because Texas Tech didn't win a lot, but they would have been, 1-11 if he hadn't been the quarterback. So, this is kind of how you get it done. And I think Dylan will focus his energy on his teammates. They need him. I mean, this team needs him. Like, he didn't get plugged into something. Like, he really does need to be the best player on the team. And they need him to be great in order to go where they want to go, which is eventually the playoffs.
So you made the comp in your rewind today from Adrian Martinez's freshman year to his sophomore year, and sort of how they positioned him. What effect does Matt Rule and the people on his staff and Raiola's teammates, like, how can they put him in a better position to not have history repeat itself with what happened in Adrian's sophomore year?
Well, I think Rule's handled it better, and I'm not trying to knock Frost. I think Frost was excited about what he saw with Adrian and was trying to get interest around the program, and said some things probably that weren't all that helpful. I just don't think Rule will handle it that way. He's going to be more, hey, buddy, so long as you're in here doing the work, but you got to get it done, and this is your team. And, it's on you. And I thought when Martinez was a sophomore, it felt like he was sort of, going to ascend into this Heisman Trophy candidate without having to ever, really take the reins of the team. And Adrian's one of the best people I'll ever know. So none of that was on him. I think he had a hard time I assume he had a hard time with teammates that just didn't, that team was not the best, I'm sure that team would like some things back in terms of the way they handled that season.
Definitely.
Starting with, Maurice Washington stuff all the way through the end of the year. And, I'm sure there's things Frost would like back too. At the end of the day, Raiola's got a little bit better situation. And I just think that, like, Rule's going to push him to be like, yeah, this is your team, buddy. And you've got to grab it by the face mask and take it where you want it to go. You can expect Dane Key to come in and be a dude. I think he will be, and his work ethic will be unquestioned. You can't expect every other receiver to come in, true freshman or whatever, and just know what to do. Like, you got one guy in Dane Key who probably knows all that, but these other guys don't. They don't have all the answers. So Raiola is going to have to fill in some of those blanks for them, and that's what good receivers need. That. Even great receivers need that, even if they don't always love it. They need quarterbacks to challenge them, and Raiola is going to have to challenge them. Cortez Mills might be the most talented receiver Nebraska's put on a field since Xavier Betts. Of course, Xavier Betts' talent didn't come to complete fruition, and so Cortez Mills is probably that talented. He's an incredible talent. Now you got to take that and translate it to the football field, and Raiola will play a role in how that happens. He touches everything on that offense. So everything that he touches is part of his leadership sphere.
Yeah.
And he's crucial. So, I don't know that people are going to talk a lot about it. And Dylan's been a good leader. It's as good of a leader as a true freshman can be. I mean, that's a hard spot to put somebody in. But, he's done all the things that you'd ask him to do. Now it's a question of, it's his team. Like,
right.
There's no other, it's his.
How does he project to you as because I think what you're sort of getting at is, like, he's got to really take the wheel and drive the bus, right? Like, how does he project to you as that type of player? Where I agree with you. I think he did a really nice job this year of, I don't know that he was, quiet necessarily, but there was an older group of leadership on the team, and now it sort of has to become his. Like, how natural is that to him? Where we know it was, if we're going back to Adrian again, I think he was a great guy, but sort of unnatural to him from that leadership, the real driver category.
Sure. I thought Adrian became a good leader by his senior year, but they lost games in ways that nobody could ever imagine doing again. Tommy's the last true. Tommy Armstrong was an alpha. And, if you didn't do what you were supposed to do, he let you know. And he willed his teammates to a couple of wins in big games, like Oregon, Michigan State. Like, Tommy willed them. And so there's a reason why they carried him off the field the last time he played, against when he really played against Minnesota.
Well, he had a torn hamstring.
Yeah. I mean, he was a dude, and it took us a long time to realize that, but they all kind of knew it. So Tommy was an alpha. Obviously Joe Gans was, back in his day, Zach Taylor was. So you gotta run across those guys. They got a certain swagger to them. They got a certain intensity. They have an ability to communicate in a very direct way. And I do think Dylan has that capability. I think he's got to be able to feel comfortable in a key moment to be able to tell a teammate, hey, we need you here. And Mahomes is great at that. That's one of his superpowers. So you don't have to be overbearing with it. You don't have to be whatever, but you just have to be able to. And the other thing I think a guy's got to do, and Brady, who couldn't stop talking about himself last night, but he was good at this, is Brady was really good at redirecting. And so you've watched all the highlights over the years of they'd be down and Brady was good at redirecting people, and so was Manning. Manning was more of a sheriff type, but they were very good at being all right, this is what we got to do now. And it would shift. And Raiola's got, that's a skill set that he'll learn of how you're down 14-3, but you just got a field goal. And okay, now when we go back out there, we're going to do this, this, and this. You have to create that environment without the coach telling you to do it. Dana Holgerson can't be, walking behind you every second of the day. You as a player have to do it. And I think he does do it. I think he already does. But there'll come a point in a crucial game where he'll have to do that, and it'll be the difference between them making a comeback or falling short. And I actually think he will get it done. I think they've got a guy that can go and do that. Now he's just got to go do it.
All right, Sam. Appreciate it as always. And now we are without football for several months. Let the countdown begin, I suppose. Yeah. Well, unless you're into the spring leagues or anything like that.
I don't know. I mean, I'll watch. I love football.
Yeah.
Just football. Last night was not that much fun.
No. Bad ending.
Super Bowl games are so, you can tell the coaches have thought so much about it, and the teams that just go and be themselves usually win. And I thought the Eagles are just we're going to have a 4-man pass rush. We're going to come after you. We're going to make you make big plays, and we're going to kick your butt. And they did. And the Chiefs looked like they were trying to do really fancy stuff on offense, and Spagnuolo had every blitz on the planet ready to dial up, and some of them got home, but I thought they were too fancy on both sides of the ball, and I thought it hurt them.
Yeah. All right, Sam. Talk to you later. Thanks as always.
Take care.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Let the lasting memory of football. What do you want your lasting memory of football to be? 2025.
Wow.
2024.
What an actually great question.
Bills Chiefs. AFC Championship game.
I think that's where I'm at.
Grunt of the century, Bills Ravens.
That was my second choice because I'm sorry, Eagles fans. It's not disrespect. Eagles Commanders was not.
We had
interesting in any way, shape, or form.
We had kind of an ugly national championship game. Had a couple good semifinal games.
Are you going to look back fondly on Texas, Arizona State?
Yes. That was probably one of the best college games of the year.
It was a great game, but I don't know that I'm going to.
Neither of those teams went on to do anything.
Remember it,
right? Yeah. Just that's the pain of the Super Bowl. If it's bad, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and you're like, "Damn,
man, I would have liked to seen what Josh Allen could have done against that Eagles."
That
team.
Was the grand finale. It's like you're at a fireworks show, and the grand finale it ended 15 seconds earlier than it should have. That was our Super Bowl last night. So let's take a break and piggyback off of what we were talking about there with Raiola. Let's try and pin him down, because we don't know a lot about his personality yet. And I hope we find out more maybe this year. But right now, I don't know if he projects as the killer that, Sam mentioned Tommy. I don't know. I don't know that I see that yet. Maybe that's discoverable this offseason for him. And maybe that's kind of what they're working on in there. But kind of has to be natural. You kind of know it when you see it.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that when we come back on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Did we actually dive in and get our real takes about the Kendrick Lamar thing yet? About the halftime show? I think we've maybe alluded to them once or twice. So I think we know on the surface why some people didn't like the halftime show. First of all, before that, generally, I think people have a distaste toward the halftime show because it's new and people are old, right?
I would say one of America's favorite pastimes is complaining about the Super Bowl.
I don't think the halftime show was very good.
Your favorite band is never going to play the Super Bowl halftime show.
When's the last time we all agreed on the halftime show? Has there been a time?
Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg?
Oh no, people did not.
No, people did not.
People did not agree.
Like
well, I'm not saying people didn't like it, but not everybody agreed that it was good.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
All right, list of Super Bowl halftime shows.
Yeah.
So this year we had This year we had Kendrick. Last year we had Arsher.
No,
I loved it. I loved it.
I didn't. What he's doing too much. Why was he doing so much?
That's his bit. He dances and sings, and he has the microphone attached to his face like he's a pop star because he is.
Oh wow! The wiki will tell you every song that they played.
Rihanna the year before that. Wasn't she pregnant?
She was, and that was how she revealed it.
That was wild.
People forget.
Yeah, and then we had the LA one, which was everyone, right?
Dre,
Dr. Dre,
Snoop,
Snoop
Eminem,
Dogg,
Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar.
50 Cent. Didn't he show up?
Yeah, he was upside down, and he said, "That's one of my regrets of my career is doing that upside down."
So many 50 Cent memes. The Weekend weird one where he was lost in the mirror maze.
No, thank you.
Shakira, the Shakira belly dance, it was probably about 15 years too late.
People definitely did not like that one.
Yeah. Maroon 5?
Oh.
I don't remember that, but I definitely don't remember it being bad. It was just probably not that memorable.
That's probably like in the safe category, right?
I got one.
Okay.
Justin Timberlake.
Justin's okay. He had that little kid.
Everybody loves Justin Timberlake.
Lady Gaga the year before that.
Well, that's where she repelled from the ceiling, right? From the
yeah.
roof, from the sky.
When was Prince?
Prince was the 90s, wasn't it?
No. 07.
07? Okay. Yes, everyone agrees that was good.
Yeah. But we had the dinosaur rock acts after Prince, Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, The Who.
Wow, what happened in this year?
Okay.
The Indianapolis one?
Well, it's Indianapolis. Who's coming to Indy?
So Madonna had a bunch of I don't remember this at all. LMFAO, Cirque du Soleil, Nicki Minaj, MIA, CeeLo Green, Andy Lewis, a bunch of drum lines, and a bunch of 200 person choir consisting of Indianapolis locals. Beyonce Destiny's Child was the last New Orleans. That was the lights out Super Bowl.
That's right.
Man, that feels like a long time ago at this point. Anyway, here's my thing. A lot of what happens at the Super Bowl halftime show is not necessarily a reflection on how good of a musician the person is. It's about how they can command the room and how they can sort like what they're projecting, right? Like how they can move from piece to piece and how they can go from song to song. And if you're judging it on that and you're not, and you're throwing out all of your like preconceived notions of, I hate rap, I hate this kind of rap, I hate whatever. If you throw that out, if you're at all capable of doing that, and you're just doing what I try to normally judge these halftime shows on, of like, how much was I grabbed by this? How much did the person command the room? Like, is the star factor there? Like, I thought Kendrick was probably like a B to a B plus. I thought he got through all the songs well. I thought bringing in Samuel Jackson was really good for what he was trying to do, right? And then the whole bit of, is he going to do it? Will he say it or not? Was, I thought, the perfect way to play it. I thought it was the perfect way to play it.
Yes. I liked the sort of the.
I liked it.
If you look at the halftime show as telling a story, like I liked the story he told of.
Yes.
Now, Kendrick, you can't do that. America doesn't want you to do that, Kendrick. You got to do this. Good.
How they get all those people into that car?
I don't know.
That was a lot of people.
It was.
What kind of trap door they have underneath that? Because I
looked. I specifically looked for a trap door.
Car. There was no door.
No. Because I thought the same thing. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a clown car situation."
There was
sure enough,
there was like 30 people that came out of the car. Samuel Jackson not included in the car.
That's right.
Jeff wonders what the hell kind of pants was Kendrick wearing.
I asked my wife. I said, "Are bell bottoms back?" And she said, "Yeah, kind of. He looks good in them, doesn't he?"
Really long, tight pants.
Yeah, but then they like flared out at the ankle.
Yeah, my wife commented that she liked his jeans.
So did my wow.
Yeah, liked his pants. Good pants. There was a whole bunch of like if you're not If you don't know what's going on with Kendrick right now, then you probably just didn't get it.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it.
There were a lot of Easter eggs.
Yep.
And sort of, if you know, you know.
Yep. Mike says the 1987 Buick Grand National is especially roomy. That's all he ever wanted. That's all he ever wanted was a black Grand National.
Yep.
And then he said being rational. And then he did a song. I don't know. Did he actually do that song? I don't know if he ever did. Or maybe that was the start. But he did.
I have the list.
We know that he did. Ba, 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 da.
He did.
He did it. Will he say it? Yes, he said it.
And then like a whole verse.
Stacy.
Hi, Stacy.
Says, I was impressed that essentially his special effects were people. The choreography was really good. Yeah, all the way down to the people sitting on top of the light poles.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. That was good. And moving from corner to corner and then, like very smoothly. And SZA's over here. Let's go hang out with SZA for a little while.
It felt small, intimate,
Yes.
About as intimate as that venue.
It was never
can
going to be what Usher did. It was never going to be what Katy Perry did. Like they weren't going to have 7 different costumes for him to wear.
No,
he was just going to do a couple performances of a couple songs, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be extreme or anything like that. Chris writes in.
Hi, Chris.
Poll question: did you like the pants?
All right, we can do that.
Does that do it? Yeah, I like that one. Happer Spin guy, if I had a nickel for every time we've seen somebody do the sea walk at the Super Bowl halftime show in the last 3 years, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Yes.
That's true. And this time it was Serena Williams.
Mm-hmm. I just loved all the little Easter eggs, like the lowercase a chain.
Yep.
The crowd literally at a fever pitch. Like, is he say the line? Like the Simpsons meme. Say the line, Kendrick. A minor.
When is he going to do it? Oh, he's going to do it. And the crowd, they knew that line, didn't they, Josh?
They sure did. And I'm
that was the whole performance. When is he going to say A minor? And how good is that going to be when he does? It did not disappoint.
It did not disappoint. And
even though he didn't do anything totally special for it outside of like faking the song once, little pump fake kind of, but he didn't ham it up or anything. He just did the line. And it worked.
You've been doing a radio show, and I'm not sure if you've seen.
I haven't seen anything.
The memes that have like Kendrick smiling at the camera.
Oh, I saw those last night.
Has turned into a meme. Those are pretty fun to kind of cycle through.
By the way, Kyle has some evidence of the Grand National sitting on top of a
great
trapdoor.
That would be very helpful. Sorry,
it's literally sitting on a trapdoor.
I knew there had to be one. I just did not see it.
It's like that's not a real life car. It has a trapdoor. You guys are idiots. That's what Kyle is saying, basically.
No, Kyle's right. I am a huge idiot. I'll speak for myself on that one.
But I just didn't see it. It wasn't obvious to me, so it's like it never happened. All right, so we did not talk about Dylan Raiola's leadership qualities. We'll save it for another day.
I mean, Serena Williams doing the sea walk as an ex of Drake, someone who was told not to do that at Wimbledon.
See, I did not know the Serena Drake lore, if you will.
Yeah.
That's what the kids are calling it these days.
Yeah.
I did not know about that. So I thought it was weird when Serena showed up. I was like, what's Serena Williams doing there? Why is she dancing and only on the camera for 4 seconds? Yeah. That was crazy.
That was I was like, okay, you got her to do it. And that's very cool. Why did we not emphasize that this is Serena Williams?
Yeah. She should have had a name tag on.
Yeah.
Or something like that. All right. We'll be back with the polls. We'll tell you what to watch after this on 1620 The Zone. Minor. And then that straight into the cheer. Or like the roar of the crowd.
With the game over overhead.
Yeah, they didn't do a great job with that. It
wasn't real, right? It was superimposed, right?
It looked like it was people in the stands either holding cards up or having lights.
If it was people, they did a terrible job.
It was only mildly obvious that it was saying game over and right at the end it's like, what's that say? Oh yeah, game over. Okay, commercial.
Because it looked like a PlayStation control. Get it? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I get it.
Not a rap beef.
By the way, we're getting killed for our trapdoor finding ability.
We said we were idiots. What more do you want?
Like, duh, idiots, you guys.
I knew there had to be one there.
Yeah, that's all.
This audience very weird on the nitpicks.
Nah,
I like it.
3 poll questions today from the show. Have you seen Hope Floats?
I have, unfortunately.
Of course you have.
Not great.
Only 66% said no, Josh.
Okay.
I think you thought that might be higher.
A little. I expected to be a tick higher, yeah.
Is 2007 basically the 90s? The answer to this question is no.
No, people.
Like 2004 is basically the 90s. 2007 is basically 2010.
Agree.
Unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So no is the answer. 75% say yes.
Wow.
But now it's early.
Very early.
But 75% say yes at the moment. And finally, did you like the pants? Still early. Once again, I'll vote.
I'm going to vote yes.
I wouldn't. I
for me.
I wouldn't like those pants. Those pants were not for me.
Right.
So I think that's how I'm interpreting the question, and I'm going to say no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
58% say no. They did not like the pants.
They look great on him.
I never get it.
He's wearing the hell out of those pants.
Is he? Just have no, why can't people have what happened to normal pants?
He made me ask my wife, "Hey, are bell bottoms back?"
What happened to normal pants though? Like, why are we always trying to do stuff with pants?
I don't know. Great question.
Just like have them be pants and wear them down to the ankles and have them be a normal fit on your legs. Nobody does that anymore, Josh.
No.
Every pant is either way too long, way too short, way too baggy, way too tight. Can we just have medium everything?
Stop saying stuff with your pants.
That's my pants take of the day.
Good pants take.
Bring back normal takes. Normal pants. Those are the polls. What are we watching tonight?
We're watching Big Monday on ESPN, and whoo boy, what a selection. North Carolina at Clemson, 6:00 on ESPN.
High-waisted pants, low-waisted pants. You can see your butt crack. You pull them up too high. We can see some other stuff. It's not good.
The never-ending debate about cargo pants, shorts, whatever.
God, too many pockets, too few pockets.
That's right.
So many different kinds of pants, just normal.
Baylor at number 5, Houston, 8:00 on ESPNU. We'll get to why in a minute. The NCAA women's, really the only game of note tonight. Iowa at Nebraska.
That's true, Josh. I'll be there.
Connor Happer will be there. 7:00 on BTN. The NBA, normally on NBA TV on a Monday, and it will be there at 7:00 for Warriors Bucks. Jimmy Butler takes on Giannis, Dame Lillard. I don't know. These are Bucks I know.
They still play for them.
And then on ESPN at 9:30, this pushed the Houston game to ESPNU because once again, ESPN will try and air the Luka Doncic debut for the Lakers. It went so well Saturday. Jazz Lakers 9:30 tonight. LeBron and Luka upgraded to probable for tonight's game.
Did you see the news on Anthony Davis?
Comforting. Yeah, he's out for weeks.
Very surprising news.
Mr. Glass is out for weeks.
Very surprising news to see that he's hurt.
I know. Hockey on NHL Network tonight, 6:30. Puck drop for the 2025 Beanpot Championship. Number 9 Boston against number 1 Boston College.
Shout out to the Beanpots.
That's right. People forget. NFL Network is re-airing the Super Bowl tonight, so take your wraparound sunglasses off and appreciate Kendrick Lamar.
No, I'm not watching that game again. Never, ever, ever. I'm never watching that game again.
Find out what part of the game it's on. Take your wraparound sunglasses off and watch Kendrick Lamar.
Watch Kendrick on Twitter. It's all out there.
Oh, okay. The Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show, 7 o'clock on FS1. Day one of group judging, whatever that means. And on Netflix, Surviving Black Hawk Down. Connor, have you seen the movie Black Hawk Down? 2001. Josh Hartnett.
Yes,
Tom
but
Sizemore?
maybe not in one full sitting.
That's fine.
Parts.
This is a 3-part docu-series telling the real story of the horror and heroism behind the events that inspired Black Hawk Down.
All right, Josh, thanks.
Thanks, Connor.
That is what we're watching. That is the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover's next.